What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 139 of the Tasty Cast, a weekly podcast where we talk about things, react to things, do a bunch of random shit. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
A couple quick reminders that we're in a new month, so make sure to download and play Oddworld, Soulstorm, Days Gone, and Zombie Army 4, all offered for free on PlayStation Plus. Make sure to download those, play those, come back at the end of this month for Plus Club. Let us know what we thought of those games. We'll let you know what we thought of them. And our game of the month, picked by Chris, is Nioh 2, which is a third-person Souls-like samurai ninja game where you run around, you fight Oni and fucking all sorts of weird things, and you level up, and it's challenging, and there's rough bosses. Make sure to play that and come back at the end of the month for Game of the Month, where we're going to discuss our opinions on that as well. We have a Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support the channel further than liking, commenting, sharing this video, and subscribing if you're brand new. I feel like I nailed the intro. Fuck yeah.
You did it.
All right. So, how you guys doing? Tastecast. Been like 2 weeks since we've done one.
Yeah. Besides the after work tired, I'm all right.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst. I love doing the show, but I hate doing after work because I'm like worn out. Like midday, halfway through the day, I'm like, I'm ready, dude. I'm ready for this fucking episode tonight. And I get home, I'm like, holy fuck. Oh, I gotta get fucking in the mindset. I gotta get emotionally and physically ready. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I took the day off from streaming, so I didn't really do much today. Kind of relaxed.
Nice. It's very nice. I want to relax too. Weekend's coming up soon, though, so I'm very excited about that. Yeah. So, how about we get into this first Tasty Cast of the month? We always start with game releases, so we're just gonna jump right the fuck into that. So let's do that. So it is April, in case you don't know. Maybe you just woke up from a coma and you're here. It's like I've said that a couple times, so maybe we're getting lucky each time I say that. And there's one person like, hey, I'm that guy. Well, welcome back. And yeah, we're gonna go through this list. We're gonna read what games are coming out this month, and we're gonna talk about our anticipation or lack of anticipation for all these games. All right, jumping in, we got Outriders, which is already out on April 1st. Came out on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Then on April 2nd, we got World of Demons on iOS. That's interesting, they're putting iOS games on here. Lost Words Beyond the Page came out April 6th on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Then also on April 6th is Oddworld Soulstorm, which is for free on PlayStation Plus. Make sure to download that and play that. And then Star Wars Republic Commando, PS4 and Switch, April 6th. I don't know if I said Soulstorm or not. Came out on PS5, PS4, and PC.
You did not.
Okay. Now I have. You've heard it now. Before Your Eyes coming out PC or came out on April 8th. Borderlands 3 Director's Cut DLC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and PC, April 8th. What the Dub? I hate that name. PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. No next gen for that one. April 8th. That came out already. And then we got, as of today, The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 4 on Switch and PC. Poison Control comes out on April 13th, PlayStation 4 and Switch. And then we got Ash Walkers PC coming out on April 15th. Saga Frontier Remastered, PS4, Switch, PC, iOS, and Android. I didn't know it was coming out on mobile. April 15th as well. Then MLB The Show 21, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, April 20th.
That's such a bizarre one.
That is a weird one for sure. Atelier Mysterious Trilogy Deluxe Pack, PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC, April 22nd. Judgment coming out on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Stadia, April 23rd. Near Replicant version 1.22474487139 coming out on PS4 and Xbox One and PC April 23rd. Assassin's Creed Valhalla Wrath of the Druids DLC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Stadia, and PC April 29th. Total War Rome Remastered coming out PC April 29th. New Pokemon Snap, that's coming out already. Switch April 30th. R-Type Final 2, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. There's too many consoles. April 30th. Returnal is also coming out this month. I had no idea. PS5. Only PS5, April 30th. And then finally, thank you, I hope, let me check. Terminator Resistance Enhanced. Everyone's been waiting for that. Finally coming out on PS5, April 30th. All right, so what games are we most anticipating, least anticipating, and anywhere in between?
Kind of said something earlier, but I'm still kind of blown away that a Sony game is coming out on Xbox.
It's not a Sony game no more. They're fucking... I mean, it might be made by them. I don't know. But that shit, that's been a big controversy on Twitter.
Yeah, it's strange. And I'm sure it has more to do with the MLB license than it does with Sony.
100%. So what you're saying, though, is you want to play on Xbox?
No, just random commentary on that one. I was going to pick up Outriders, but Josh was kind enough to get it for me for
your birthday.
1 month early birthday present.
Happy birthday. Next month.
Next month.
Happy next month birthday.
So I need to sit down and play that, though this month is a little busy, so squeezing that in is going to be rough.
Yeah.
Oddworld we're going to play, and I already wanted to play anyways, so that's convenient in every sense.
Man, I say this every month, but PlayStation Plus is like really killing it, and they've been doing this thing where they're like releasing brand new games on there.
Yeah,
and it's fucked up.
It is.
I mean, it happens. To be fair, it happens on Game Pass.
Yeah,
but those are typically games that are on everything. Yep. But it's still really cool. They'll come out first day on there, like Outriders. Exactly. Yeah. But we're getting like these PlayStation exclusives on like the first day of release, and it's fucking crazy too on PlayStation Plus. So just kind of a crazy time to be getting these games that I'm already kind of planning on buying. Bug Snacks, Destruction All-Stars, and this.
For sure. I'm curious in getting Saga Frontier Remastered, though in that case, as with most of Square's like re-releases of games, I'm going to wait and see which platform it plays best on. Because that seems to be all over the place with them. That also goes with my must-buy of the month, which would be Nier Replicant. I am curious about picking up on PC, but I know that they did not handle Nier Automata very well on PC, so I might end up just getting that on PlayStation. The Atelier series, the trilogy pack there, I am curious about, but I still need to beat Ryza, and Ryza 2's out, so probably not hopping on that anytime soon. Pokemon Snap I'll probably pick up, honestly, because I like the original, and those kind of games are really easy to just kind of like play for a little bit and turn off. So that'll be, I think, kind of a nice relaxing title. And I am realistically probably not going to buy it, but I am a little curious about R-Type. Just because I always like those kind of games. I just never prioritize them.
Interesting. So I bought Outriders. I'll be talking about that in the next segment. I bought that. I thought about getting on Game Pass, but because they did release that demo and absolutely changed my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna pay them. Like, I'm gonna give them the money because I feel like they deserve it. So bought that already. Oddworld, luckily, we already talked about it, but already got it. And I've played a little bit. We'll talk about that as well. Well, we're not going to talk about that anytime soon, but we'll talk about that at some point. Let's see. Saga Frontier Remastered, I'm curious about for sure. Borderlands 3 Director's Cut DLC. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Let me know in the comments. If it has anything to do with that story, though, I don't give a shit. Let's see. Judgment. I didn't get to play that on the last gen consoles, so I'm curious to still play that, and I would probably play it on PlayStation 5 or PC. So definitely curious about that. Nier Replicant, yeah, that's the must-buy game of the month for me as well. Very much anticipating that. Is anybody playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla? I don't mean that in general. Like, of course, if you've been playing, anyone listening, let us know what you think about in the comments. But have either of you played it? I've heard nothing but great things.
Nope.
I haven't played an Assassin's Creed since the French one.
People talk shit. I liked that one. Unity. I played a little bit of Valhalla, and it was pretty fucking cool. So I should probably pick that up at some point, and maybe that DLC. New Pokemon Snap, definitely interested in that. And then I am also interested in Returnal. I do kind of want to see reviews on it, because that is one that's kind of like, I don't know if it's going to be cool or not. It looks neat, but Definitely interested. And you want me to play Terminator Resistance Enhanced? Fucking pay me. I ain't playing that shit. Yeah, Chris.
Well, I'm interested in Outriders. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I'm interested in Saga Frontier. Like Chevy, though, I kind of want to wait to see which platform it plays best on. I'm kind of hoping, to be honest, it's for the Switch, since I just got a Switch and I want some more games on it. And Pokemon Snap, I'm also intrigued by, because I played a lot of it on the 64, like a lot of it, like too much of it on the 64. So it'd be a fun game to pick up. And then also R-Type Final 2, because I also enjoy those kind of games. But that's really it.
Interesting.
I gotta get you to play Nier.
Make him do it. Force him.
They're so good.
Do that Clockwork Orange thing where he got his eyelids strapped open, fucking strapped to a chair playing Nier.
Didn't they put Automata on Game Pass?
Probably.
Yeah, I have it downloaded.
Play it.
You gotta make him, dude. He ain't gonna play that without force.
I mean, this month's rough, but
This month is pretty rough.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough. Anything else? Anything you're upset about releasing this month?
I don't think I could ever be upset about something releasing.
There's definitely something there I'm not liking. But I'll let everybody figure that out in the comments below. Speaking of you guys, let us know what games you guys are anticipating this month. What games you're going to pick up. What games have you already picked up? Have you played Outriders? Are you planning on playing Nier? What about Returnal? What do you think about that game? Is there anything else released this month that was not on this list? Let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. All right, so that was quick and easy. Let's jump into what we've been playing. Yeah, so I'll go first. So most of the games I've played this month, I can't talk about. That is Nioh 2. I've played Nioh 2 a little bit. That, of course, is our game of the month. Chris picked that, and we'll talk about that at the end of the month. Holy fuck. Oddworld Soulstorm, played that a little bit. Can't talk about that. That's a Plus Club game. Days Gone, played that. Can't talk about that. Zombie Army 4, can't talk about that, but we did stream that recently for about 2 hours. So if you want a little bit of a preview, we did a Plus Club preview of that. You can kind of get a gist of our impressions probably by watching that. Make sure to check that out. And then I've been continuing playing Remnant from the Ashes. Me and Josh are playing that. We are trying to beat it. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. We're in like the 3rd or 4th area now. We went through like this like Legends of the Hidden Temple fucking jungle temple place. That was pretty neat. The enemies get substantially harder every time you go to a new zone too, which is nice because like I've played the Earth zone so much that I was just like murdering. I'm like, dude, okay, I'll just get a headshot everything. They're all gonna fucking die. And then I get to the second area, I'm like, okay, these guys are taking a little more shots. And then I get to the third area, and like everyone's got projectiles they're shooting from across the map, and like fucking they have like way more health and shit. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm starting to finally feel like I belong here. So that's been cool. And yeah, I'm definitely got my eyes on the prize. I want to beat that fucking game because I've been playing that game since it came out. I still haven't beaten it. I've beaten the fucking DLC. That's stupid. But it's fun. It was $10. Fucking really good deal. And yeah, really enjoying it still. And then of course I've been playing primarily Outriders since that came out. Continued my character from the demo, who was level 7, over into the actual game. And there was some hiccups. I started the game with that demo character, and the game loaded. There was no HUD. NPCs could not be talked to. Nothing would pop up. I couldn't access my inventory. I couldn't access like the options menu. I couldn't do anything. I was like, cool. So I tried to troubleshoot that for a while. Couldn't get that figured out. So I ended up making a new character. You're able to skip the prologue, which is really appreciated. Enough games don't do that. Like, I wish more games did that. Like, if you've beaten the game or beaten the prologue once ever with a character, after that, they should just let you skip it. Yeah. I get, like, one time they want you to go through that story. I can respect and appreciate that. But this game's just like, hey, you already fucking did this, just skip the prologue. I'm like, cool. because it's kind of a long chunk of story you got to sit through.
Yeah. Sure.
Which I enjoyed, but yeah, when I want to make like a new character, I just want to get through that shit. So luckily, I was able to do that. It spawns you right into an area where you're in combat, and I had my HUD, I had my access to NPCs, I was able to shoot stuff and access my inventory and everything. So I was like, so the game's not broken. It's just maybe my demo character when they transferred over. I don't know. So what I did is I went to my demo character, and the game has a system where you can go back and start from any part of any of the chapters that you've already gone through. And what it does is it resets your story progress, but not your character progress, which I think is really nice. So I was able to go back one chapter, and when I started there, all my shit was back.
Interesting.
So there was just some kind of weird bug that happened, but then also anybody who's been playing this game since it came out knows that the first like couple days, servers were having issues. There was weird cross play problems. People were blaming people on Game Pass and saying that because they got a free copy, they're bogging down the fucking servers for the people who paid premium prices. And I'm like, I was like, yeah, and I was like, I don't think that's what's wrong. But if that is, let us know in the comments if there's evidence behind that. But that was like a real big thing for a whole day. People were like, the fucking Game Pass people are ruining the game. I'm like, okay, I don't think that's
money for Game Pass. You can eat a fucking dick.
It's a brand new game that's server based, made by a smaller developer. This is an EA that made this game. So for me, I literally played, and when I started getting like having hiccups, I was like, I'll wait a day. I got so many games to play. I'll come back and play this later. That's fine. The last time I played, it played great. But there was one day, only one day, that me and Josh tried to play, and it would kick one of us, and it would boot the other one because we're in the same game, and vice versa. And then Josh had problems getting back in the game, and we both just went like, let's just go play Remnant. And he's like, okay. And we went and did that.
There's a guy I follow on YouTube for Final Fantasy 14 content, and he's been playing a lot of Outriders. And but when it doesn't work, he's like, oh, servers aren't working. We're gonna go play something else for a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about all the time on this channel, but like just we're notorious at this point of like, if there's an issue, like we're not gonna fucking get crazy about it.
Yeah.
If it's like a long-standing issue, it gets hard to deny there's a problem, but I'm still not gonna sensationalize it almost fucking ever. It's never gonna happen. Yeah. Because I don't give a fuck that much. If they're blatantly fucking you, yeah, I'll have an issue with that. But then that becomes a different topic. But when the game first comes out, yeah, in a perfect world, if it ran smooth, that'd be amazing. But
yeah, I understand the mentality of like, you know, you paid for a product, you went to work. I get that, but at the same time, like, what game does anymore? So,
yeah,
not saying that's a good excuse.
There was a bunch of people on Steam like their communication on what 9 or 12 meant, whether that was midnight or noon. They didn't put a PM or AM. And a bunch of people thought that when it said 12 East Coast and 9 West Coast, they thought it meant 9 p.m. release. And so a bunch of people on Steam were trying to play, and they got fucking pissed because they meant 9 a.m. the next day.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. I was like, oh, shit. But I was like, I'll just play something else. That's fine. I started looking through the community stuff, though, and people were like, I'm fucking refunding this. I can't believe they lied to us. And people were like, they didn't lie to you. They literally said, like, if you read their blog, they fucking said that it was going to be 9 a.m. on the West Coast. And admittedly, I looked at the picture. It doesn't say that.
Yeah.
If you're just looking at the picture, you didn't get that info. But I guess they did, communicate that.
So that's bad communication, but it's not lying.
I am an advocate of like looking into shit before you purchase, like know what you're getting into. But there's all these people going like, I'm refunding this shit. I'm like, you're gonna refund the game because you can't play it for a couple hours?
Yeah.
Like, that's wild. But that's your money, man. Fucking money. That's your money. Refund it if you want to. But you're gonna buy it in a couple hours anyway. So it's like, what the hell?
Yeah, and I feel like I'm preaching to the choir, but like there's a responsibility obviously of the person making a product, but there's also a responsibility as a consumer
100%.
To not make stupid purchases.
Sure.
So
I've known somebody who bought I think it was like during the Xbox 360 era, but they had bought that like digital arcade version, and they like looked at the box. It showed a bunch of controllers and games, and like they're like, dude, it didn't come with the controllers or the games. I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, it had it on the box in the picture. I was like, what? I was like, what does it say on the back of what's inside? And he's like, I don't know. It just showed on the case, and he's like, and it has like no memory. I'm like, holy fuck, dude! You're gonna spend a couple $100 on something. You should probably read like, what the hell you're getting.
Dude, I'm bad about spending $50 and not knowing what the fuck I'm buying.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to bitch too much about people not doing their research, but it was just very apparent that was a thing when this game came out. And what I'm trying to get to, because I'm going to talk about my thoughts on Outriders, since it's the only game I can talk about in a sec, but they had a couple hiccups. I think everything's running smooth now, but the thing that's really fucking cool, and this is great, I would love to see other companies do this, is they don't know exactly what it's going to be, but they're going to be rewarding people who played during that time. They're going to be giving out, there's an emote and a couple other things, a legendary weapon people are going to get, and then they're going to be giving you, I forgot what it is, some kind of currency or something, but they're going to give you as much of that currency as your highest level character. So if you played during that time where they're having those problems, they're going to reward you. So I should be getting rewarded like anybody else who played early on. So do I think they need to do that? Fuck no. But do I think it's cool? Hell yeah, because like that's just showing that they acknowledge, hey man, there was fucking hiccups. Let's just be like, hey, thanks for sticking around. I think it's a good thing. But again, I don't think people need to do that. I think people should be understanding to a certain degree also, unless it's like a Brink situation where for 2 weeks the game just doesn't fucking work. That will destroy your game. That's a different thing.
That was a purchase I made day one.
So. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think that's really cool they're doing that. Anyway, when it comes to Outriders, I'm enjoying the story. I kind of talked about it already, so I'll try and be brief about it. I'm enjoying the story still, even though I think the main character is inconsistent and kind of goes from serious to real fucking dorky real fast. It's weird. Like not even just in this game, but in other games, I've been just going journal because we were playing Outriders, and I think there was a part of the sentence before that he might have said. But he just walked up, found some papers on the ground, and he just went, journal. And, like, I picked it up. And I was like, what the fuck was that? And ever since then, me and Josh just been saying journal, which is just so weird. Also, I don't know if you guys watched The Boys. Have you guys seen it? It's a show about, like, superheroes, but it's, like, fucked up. It's a pretty cool show. The guy who plays Homelander plays the male version of the main character in Outriders, which is really interesting. He does a great job in The Boys. I don't want to say he does a bad job in Outriders, but he's so inconsistent.
It's a direction problem.
Well, me and Josh was like, it sounds like he phoned it in. I'm like, literally sounds like he phoned it in. It sounds like they fucking called him up and went, hey, say this. He's like, say my journal. My journal? Yeah, perfect. And he's like, oh, okay. And then like, now say this. Say that? Yeah, perfect. And they just took it. Because it's tonally so inconsistent. But anyway, story's cool. Voice acting's not even that bad for the most part outside of the main character. Combat's fun, although I'm getting to a point where like some of the enemies are starting to feel like big old fucking bullet sponges. They'll just like walk around and they'll fucking just unload at you, and when you have a chance you just go just unload into them for a while. Obviously you want to aim for their critical spots, but still like it takes like a shitload of bullets. So I wish there was a little more interesting elements to the fight. Luckily, there is bosses that have like circles to stay out of, I guess. But and they can be pretty challenging, which is nice. It's refreshing, but they're also bullet sponges. I feel like I'm just there for 20 minutes shooting the thing. And yeah, the guns are cool. The moves are cool. I'm playing a trickster for anybody who's curious, and I'm enjoying that a lot. Apparently, they're getting nerfed, and I completely understand. Because they do feel OP. I have a lot of things stacked where I just do extra damage on top of extra damage, and when I have that all going at once, I just melt dudes. Even like mini bosses and stuff, I'll just shoot them in the face, and their health bar goes. Though I am very squishy right now. I need to fix that because there's been a couple times where I just go and just die instantly. I'm like, oh god, okay. I need to retool this build that I'm working on. Luckily in the game you can respec at any time at no cost, so that's nice, although I hate that in games. I like there to be some kind of cost because I want to have to actually sit there and think about my build and not just go, I'll just fucking fix it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to complain either because it works. Multiplayer seems to work just fine outside of the problems we were having on that one day. I've only played with Josh so far since the game released, and it's been fun. He's playing Devastator, wherever, the tank character. Seems to be pretty cool. We don't seem to have a whole lot of synergy, which kind of is feels kind of shitty. Some of my moves he can definitely benefit from, and I guess I could benefit from some of his moves. But he has one where he like puts out a shield in front of him and just walks with it, and it blocks bullets. But I'm like, I'm not gonna be back here.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna be behind you. Like I teleport all over the map. That's what I do. So maybe for a different class it'd be more useful. I guess my whole tactic is to teleport behind people, turn on my fucking buffed up bullet move, and just unload into people. Man, overall pretty cool. You haven't had a chance to play yet? Gotta get you to play it.
No, in fact, if you watch our stream that we did on Zombie Army 4, there's some commentary in the beginning because when I was gifted Outriders, Steam started downloading it immediately and killed the internet.
Yeah, we were streaming for like 3 minutes, and then all of a sudden I looked and said I wasn't streaming. I'm like, what? And it was around the time you said you started downloading Outriders. And then all of a sudden I looked again and said we're streaming, and it literally streamed for 3 minutes and then hiccuped and then started streaming on its own. And I was like, God damn it.
It closed Steam. I was like, God damn it, Steam.
So I had to like get rid of that 3-minute stream.
Steam reminds me of
useless.
like Xbox 360 days, Xbox Live, where like it's just a straw in your fucking
Dude, the Xbox One was like that too.
Is it?
Yeah, dude, that thing fucking is like, oh, you got internet? I'm gonna use this. What about the other things? No. I gotta use this. This is my internet now. It's Microsoft's internet now. But yeah, overall, so far, Outriders is really fun. I'm really enjoying it. I wouldn't say I'm like super addicted to it and I'm like in love with it, but I think it's a solid game. I think it's fun. I think it does a lot of things really well. I think it does a really good job at kind of mixing third-person action RPGs with like looter shooters, even though I know it's not trying to be like a games as a service looter shooter. It's hard to deny. It's definitely fucking inspired by them, but it does feel. I had somebody in my stream kind of like, I wouldn't say they were complaining, but they were kind of like commenting on like it doesn't feel like you get enough loot, and I do feel, even though sometimes I'm finding boxes constantly, I do feel like it's trying to hold back on that because it is trying to be more of an RPG than a looter shooter. Yeah. And I kind of like that because some games go overboard where I can't fucking savor the flavor of a weapon or gear because I'm already getting something brand new every 5 seconds. So I kind of like that. There's a balance that you really got to hit. Yeah. Torchlight 2 is one of my favorite RPGs ever, but holy shit, they give you gear nonstop. And I'm just like, I find something exciting, I'm like, fuck yeah. And I use it for 5 seconds and I got something replacing it. I'm like, I appreciate that you guys made this much gear. I really think that's great. But at the same time, I kind of fucking hate it.
Torchlight 2 is just like, you want some serotonin?
Yeah. It's like, look, you're being rewarded at all times. You're being rewarded for being rewarded. You're such a good boy. Here's some new stuff. And I'm like, dude, stop. This is too much. And this game doesn't do that. So it does seem like I get to kind of hold on to things and use them for a while. So, yeah, fun game. Definitely will be playing more. Do plan on beating it, just like Remnant. Those are my 2 games. I'm just like, I'm going to beat these fucking games. And apparently it's got an end game, so I'm curious about that as well. Although Josh was saying Devastators, I guess, get kicked on in public rooms because they just don't do the DPS people want, which kind of makes sense because when we play together, he definitely is tankier than me, but I do way more damage than him. So, and it makes sense to me in my head of like, if you're playing with people who are like trying to get shit done, speed run things, and you're holding them back in any kind of game, they're going to be not as welcoming. So hopefully they can do something to rebalance that character, make it more viable in endgame. Although I'm not worried about it because I'll play with Josh as if he's a Devastator. I'm not going to be like, wow, you're not doing enough DPS.
Yeah, I mean, you're running into that, and unfortunately, everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
That's what I've been playing.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll get the ones I can't talk about first out of the way. I've been playing Neo 2. Can't really talk about it, but I've put some hours into it now.
Sick.
Played Zombie Army 4. Keep having to look at your thing to like remember the name of that.
Dead War. I think it's called.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Zombie 4.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really talk about it, but we did stream it. Like Seth said, make sure to check that out. Earlier, you brought up voice acting, and for some reason, that kind of made me think of in Final Fantasy XIV, which I've been playing. The voice actor for one of the main characters in Shadowbringers is the guy who plays the son of King Baratheon in Game of Thrones, and he's also in Skins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's the voice actor for that character. He does really good.
Interesting.
Can't remember his name. Ardbert. So yeah, we've been rating still. Was it last week? This one we have 2 weeks. I get really thrown off on what I've done. We still haven't beaten the third fight out of the 4 in the raid yet, but we did finally hit Enrage, which is basically the attack that goes, okay, the fight's over, you didn't do enough damage, so I'm just gonna kill everybody. But we got to see that finally, which means we're almost done. Like, we just have to like clean it up, do better damage, and we'll have beaten that fight. So that's exciting. It was nice to be able to see that because we've been kind of stuck on that fight for a while now. Yeah, trying to take care of some stuff in the game right now too, because they have a couple events running right now, and the patch is coming out next week that adds more story that's going to start prepping for the expansion. So
cool.
Yeah, I'm running out of time to knock stuff out, so I need to get in there and do that stuff.
So it seems like outside of you guys raiding, you've been playing other things.
Yeah, it's been a dry spell for a while. A patch, big major patch is next week. So
you excited?
Oh yeah. I want to know what the expansion is going to be like. So this is the beginning of that.
They only showed the trailer, right?
They showed a partial trailer.
Yeah.
We'll get the full thing next month.
Cool.
Yeah, FanFest is next month, so you'll be off that week. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to FanFest because full trailer, they're going to announce the second job they're adding to the game, and then hopefully we'll see some more of like just the information like on the raids and stuff like that because they named them but we didn't get to see anything, and I want to see the concerts for FanFest because that'll be fun.
We'll definitely have to cover that on the show.
They're going to be long events, so...
well, we're not going to watch no 4 or 5 hour event thing unless you want to do that.
No, I was going to say it'll have to be a summary thing.
But yeah, if we can just watch like the cliff notes of it, the trailers, the reveals, stuff like that.
For sure. See what else. I bought Monster Hunter Rise.
Congratulations. Yay.
And a Pro controller to play it.
Sick.
I haven't turned it on yet.
Too many games.
I brought up earlier with Outriders as well. The amount of games we have to play this month is not abnormal, but the titles that we have to play are not small sits.
You played Zombie Army 4? Quite
Sure.
a bit.
Still got to play the 2 single player games. And
well, you're not going to beat Days Gone unless you just really dig it.
Who knows, right? But yeah, it's just regardless, it's a lot of like full games this month. So versus like sometimes we get like small indie games that are easy to kind of digest real quick.
Ooh, I didn't mention this. Just thinking about the games we got to play. I bought all the Oddworld games on Steam because I was like, "Holy fuck, this is a new Oddworld! It's so crazy." So I play a little bit, and I'm not gonna talk about it, but like, I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, it's been so long since I played Oddworld. I forgot I like really like Oddworld, like the series, and so I looked into like how many Oddworld games came out because I didn't look into new and taste and stuff like that, and I just ended up buying it. Dude, like fucking all of them are like $4 a piece. So I just like bought them all. I was like, fuck it, dude. Like, and I think it's kind of interesting too. Is I know New and Tasty is like a reimagined version of the original Abe's Odyssey, but I didn't realize that Soulstorm is apparently a reimagining of Abe's Exodus.
Huh.
So this is a sequel to New and Tasty. And I guess New and Tasty is actually pretty different than the original Odyssey. It's just the same story, but it's reimagined a different way. Like, I was watching a thing saying they're like completely different games.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Let's see. Played Minecraft.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Actually, I played it only once in the last week.
What a shame.
But I built an EXP farm, and it's not working properly. I think it's a big reason I haven't hopped on is because I know I have to fix it. So
That was like one time way back in the day when I started like getting into Redstone and started doing experiments and stuff when I was making like transforming rooms and shit. I got pretty good at using it, but at first like I would do this huge multi-hour project with Redstone. I'm like just planning in my head this crazy fucking elaborate system of stuff, and then like I'd hit the switch and some stuff would work and the things wouldn't work, and I'd be like, I'll come back to this later, and then I wouldn't want to log in because I'm like, I'm not an electrician, I'm not a fucking engineer, man. I'm just trying to have fun, dude. I'm not trying to sit here and fucking work on the electricity, dude. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I think my problem is the way spawning works in the game. I have a feeling something is too close that is allowing for spawning. And I need to figure out what that is and get rid of it so that the only place for them to spawn is in the box I've built. So I got to figure that out. I just don't want to right now. I know I've played other stuff. Oh, I bought Audio Surf 2. I wanted to like listen.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I wanted to listen to some music the other day, and I also just didn't want to just sit there idly, so I went ahead and picked that up. I remember Audio Surf being different for some reason in my head than when I played it, because it's literally just like going down a roller coaster trying to get a high score, and that's all it is. You don't lose. So
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
there's like 5 modes like in the original.
Like a rhythm game where there's like a failure option, and this one doesn't do.
I don't know about the failure part, but it is a rhythm game.
Yeah, no.
it generates the things you're dodging and the things you're collecting.
And you're trying to fill the box up completely as best as possible.
Yeah, but I haven't played Audio Surf 2, which is crazy because I fucking loved the original one. I used to play it all the time just because I was like blown away by its ability to kind of map these levels.
It's still neat, yeah.
Yeah, but I've not played 2. Also, in an era where people are streaming music, it almost seems weird to play it like that.
I had to go into iTunes and actually download my music, because I usually stream it through there instead. But
I've actually been wanting to hop in there and play like all my music that I've made, just go through the albums and stuff. That'd be kind of fun. I also be curious to see what it generates based off my music, but yeah, I don't know what modes that one has, because in the original one there's different characters you play and there are different types of games.
I remember all that.
Yeah.
So the default mode, like your ship doesn't have any abilities, and you just go down a track, and if you collect the orbs, you get a box filled, and if you collect a sound wave, you lose a box. And that's it. And you're just trying to get a higher score than other people, like in your area, in your country, or worldwide type of deal.
If they make an Audio Surf 3, they should make it connect to your Spotify.
So Audio Surf 2 used to connect to YouTube, I guess, but they got rid of it in a patch. So I have a feeling they got in trouble.
Probably got in trouble, yeah, for sure.
There is a unofficial YouTube thing, since it has Steam Workshop support and everything. So
they should do, not that I need to be giving them ideas, but like if it's like a matter of like, you know, whatever kind of rules. If you're listening to Spotify and you're not paying for Spotify and you're playing it through there, you should have to listen to the ads in game too. Like I think that'd be completely fair. And then if you're paying for it, fuck it, you're already paying for the premium service. Just let Audio Surf access those songs you're listening to. You're doing the same thing. You're just playing a game with it. You could do that with anything anyway. You could listen to music while playing any game.
So
anyway,
no, that's cool. So I do need to go through the other game modes though, because I do think the classic mode is in there, I think. And they also have a co-op mode, which I thought was kind of weird, and a versus mode. So there's stuff in there. I just haven't really like played around with it too much. But it is kind of nice to just kind of like chill and like actually like do something though. But I got both, headphones on both ears, and I'm just kind of like listening to my music, and it was needed that day.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I played something else too, and
I've played plenty of things. I'm sure you have too.
Obviously not worth. Oh, I bought. This is gonna be a weird one. I don't know what the Japanese name is, but it roughly translates to considerate.
That game, yeah.
Yeah, they are WarioWare style mini games where you are going through scenarios where you essentially have to read the room. And the idea is to be as polite as possible, but there's also a not polite version and a funny Easter egg version in every map. So Gives it replayability. There's also co-op mode, which I've never seen because everyone I've seen stream it has only played single player, and when I played it, I only played single player. So that's something I'd be curious to try.
I have it.
Yeah, so we should.
This is how fucking easy it is to sell games to me. Chevy just was like, "There's a game called Consider It on Switch." I was like, "It's on Switch, huh?" I went and grabbed my Switch and I started looking it up. I'm like, "What is it called?" Like I already forgot. He's like, "Consider It." I'm like looking it up. I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Consider It." I'm like, "There's 3 of them." He's like, "Yeah, they're only like $4 or." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I just like bought them. He's like, "Yeah, they're kind of like WarioWare." I'm like, "Okay," and I bought them.
Yeah.
I haven't played them yet.
They're fun. They're charming games. So
I like the art style though. It's very minimal.
yeah, well, like an example of like one is like you're playing as in one scenario you're the girl in a relationship and you're trying to ask nicely for something, and the correct response is to kind of be cute and be like please, but you can like grovel if you push the button too far, or you can like put your nose up and eventually like do this weird pointing thing at them like you're demanding as well. So
In one of the previews, I saw someone sitting on like a subway, and someone came walking on, and there's like a spot where they could sit, and it showed your character, and it's like, and like it's like, what are you gonna do?
yep.
I was like, okay, I'm sold.
You can either
Like this is stupid.
not move out of the way, move out of their way. You can sit on someone else's lap.
It's like how it's zoomed in on your character, just like, what do I do?
yeah. They're not like deep games or anything, but yeah, if you're into like quirky, mini game stuff, they're neat. I would totally recommend picking them up. They're $5, so that's what I've been playing.
All right, Chris, what have you been playing?
I've also been playing Final Fantasy 14, doing raiding, getting tombstone stuff, event stuff. Nothing crazy to report there. I've been playing Overwatch because they brought back their event for the PvE stuff. So it's just you and 3 other people doing, fighting bots. I really enjoy that. But there's no new events going on. It's just the old 3 events from the past that they brought back to play. I've been playing Monster Hunter Rise. I got to high rank. So the difficulty jump between what was the normal rank, and high rank is considerable. I remember playing the normal rank and be like, this is really fucking easy. What did they do to this game? I don't understand what happened. And then I went to high rank and I'm like fainting and like getting my ass handed to me. I'm like, okay, this is what I remember.
I kind of assumed this game was going to be easier than what we're used to anyway, just because it's on Switch. Not everybody's going to have a pro controller, so they're going to be using the normal controller and they have the normal setup, and so they got to make it accessible to everybody. But then it makes sense that when you go to high rank, that they would go, okay, well, you've earned the harder setting, so we're going to actually make this more difficult. But I kind of had a hunch when playing the demo. I was like, this is probably going to be a little more slow paced, possibly, than maybe a little more casual feeling, at least on the initial first hunts.
Yeah, I definitely play it a little more casual than I have previous Monster Hunters. I'll come in and do like a hunt or 2, maybe 3, and then I'll swap off for a couple hours. But it's definitely fun. It's definitely Monster Hunter. It's definitely like a mix between World and like old school Monster Hunter, which I really enjoy.
That's what I liked too. Let's address the elephant in the room. So people on Twitter have been complaining about the game not having enough content. And then other people in the defense of the game, and I haven't played it much. I played the demo. I made my character. That's as far as I am in the game. So I can't speak on this. You've played it more than I have, obviously. And obviously anyone watching, let us know in the comments what you think on this. Well, people are saying the game doesn't have enough content, though, and people defending it are saying that the game just came out and they're going to support it and release more and stuff like that. What do you think about that, given what you've played so far?
Well, I mean, I'm not chewing through it really fast, so I'm not feeling the lack of content. But it is, I'm not going to say it's not out of the realm of possibility, but like you said, they support these games. They have a history of supporting Monster Hunter in the past. All the Monster Hunter games have been supported for extended amounts of time. So you're going to get a lot of new content with it. You just kind of used to playing World, where you have like a vast world and the expansion. I'm blanking the name on it. But that's a lot of content there, but that was parsed out over a period of time. So, kind of give them a little breathing room, they're just bringing it back to, kind of a handheld ish style console. It's going to be a little slower pace, but just, have faith that they always add more monsters. They always add shit tons of events to do with online content. It's gonna be there.
Yeah.
It's probably a little slower than what you're hoping for.
Yeah, my take on it is, as somebody who's played the prior Monster Hunter games, obviously, and has barely played this one, but just out of what I'm hearing from people, World was supported so well, and all the Monster Hunter games are supported well, but World was supported really fucking well, and I think it's because they have made that their flagship game, and it's the one that really brought people who are not playing Monster Hunter into Monster Hunter. The amount of people I know who talk about Monster Hunter now were not playing it before World came out. So many people I know never played Monster Hunter until World came out. And so it made a shitload of sense. I don't expect anyone to do this, but it makes a shitload of sense to support the fuck out of that game. Because it's kind of solidifies that you know they are supporting this game and making sure people are having fun for as long as they can. And so I've been thinking about Rise as like, it is kind of a departure in the sense of like not departure. It's kind of like a callback to the older Monster games. I still view it though as like it's a smaller project. It's on a lesser console. I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just not as powerful, so it's not gonna be able to do something as big as
I have heard
World.
that they made that RE engine run silky smooth in the Switch.
It runs great, yeah, for sure. It doesn't look as good, and it's less detailed, even in like the amount of things that are on screen, stuff like that. But like it plays great.
Yeah.
My point is though, is I don't think they're gonna put the same amount of time and effort into this game. I could be wrong. Into this as they did World. So people who played World and saw what they did there, that wasn't just like crazy support for Monster Hunter. That's crazy support for fucking almost any game that exists outside of an MMO. They support that game for fucking so long with so much content.
2 years.
That if that's the standard you think that will go into Rise, that'd be great if it does. I wouldn't suspect that though. I wouldn't expect that because they're gonna want to make World too. And when that comes out, people are going to fucking be stoked for it or whatever the next big, main, current gen game is going to be. They're going to start working on that soon. They've stopped support on World. I think that happened, right? Didn't they just release something or they're releasing something soon?
No, I don't think there's going to be. I don't think they're developing new content for it.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Not like server support, shit like that. And they're going to do stuff with Rise. But whatever the next game is, like the big one, that's probably what they're planning for next.
I don't
not
imagine.
not everybody's on Switch.
Well, I don't imagine they're gonna. They'll probably treat it like they treat every Monster Hunter, and it'll get supported for probably about a year.
Yeah.
So
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think are you gonna get like a fucking expansion to it and shit? I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, that was weird for World.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're
yeah.
coming from World, especially if you're somebody who just got a Monster Hunter from World, and you're playing Rise, and you're going like, this doesn't have enough content. Again, I'm not talking from experience, but just from what I'm hearing, I would be surprised if it's the same support as World did, just because World was fucking huge for Capcom. It sold fucking crazy. It took a game that they've been making since fucking PS2 and put it on the map for everybody. Everybody knows what Monster Hunter is now.
Yeah.
Before World, fucking, it was a niche crowd that was growing slowly.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, I'm not trying to just rant here or whatever, but like people complain about the content. I mean, maybe you burned through it quickly. I kind of did that with World when it first came out. I got to the end real fucking fast. Luckily, that game has plenty to do in it. But yeah, I would just wait on it. Maybe do what Chris is doing, kind of savor it. Just kind of take your time with it. And they will support it. I'd be surprised if they didn't. It'd be the first Monster Hunter they don't support, and add stuff to. But if you're expecting what they did with World, I don't know if you're going to get that. Just because that game was a big deal. Like that was a big deal for us. It was a big deal for Capcom. It was a big deal for everything. And I only assume you're going to get something like that when the next big Monster Hunter comes out like that. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't played it much, so. But yeah. I've seen it now. People complaining about the game not having enough to it, and I'm just like, it's a portable mobile game. Like I don't know. I'm sure it has plenty to do. Everyone I know in real life fucking is enjoying it. So
yeah. I honestly feel it falls into the camp of people who absorbed it too quick and they already want more, and this is going to be bad news for those people, but you'll never be satisfied. You're always going to want more. So
It's fair.
Yep. Yep.
Sooner you realize that, the better. As someone who plays MMOs, you hit that point. You know, I've been playing a game for years and years and years, and I just want more and more and more and more and more. They can only develop so fast, man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I don't think Monster Hunter Rise is their main effort. I think it's something they did kind of on the side, and they're gonna, you know, I played it, I like it, plays great, but
well, Monster Hunter was, I'm pretty sure at least like an annual title there for a while, where it was like Monster Hunter 3, and then another version of Monster Hunter 3 came out the next year type thing, and then it was Monster Hunter 4, and then another version, and then
I think they did it a
Generations,
couple times, yeah.
You know, World being supported for that length of time, like was brought up, that was kind of a weird one. But it was because of just the sheer number of people still playing.
The
it.
success, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a smart move.
Yeah.
They made people real at home for a long time with that game.
They technically sold you 2 games anyways, because
Iceborne.
Iceborne was $40, but it was a full ass game again. It's literally World all over again. You just started over.
Yeah, just a little less, but still, and then they added more to it. So it's like they kept adding shit to the game.
Yeah.
They're already supporting the game, adding more and more, and then they added expansion, added more and more and more. And it's like, holy shit.
So to most people who bought both parts brand new, they got $100 out of you.
Yeah. Well, then a lot of people I know bought it on PC as well later. So it's like, they definitely made their money.
Yep.
Anyways,
Yep.
enjoy your games, and when you run out of content and it's a game like that, play something else for a little while. Come back when they have more stuff for you to do.
Well, I don't want to discredit anybody who, like, maybe, you know, that was their game they're going to buy with the $60 they had, and maybe they feel like it doesn't have as much as like prior games they played, and maybe they feel disappointed. I think you can have that conversation in responsible ways, but you know, nowadays the internet, people don't have these nuanced conversations that we have here on this channel with you guys. But, you know, they just kind of go, fuck this game. This isn't as good as I wanted it to be. They ruined Monster Hunter. I haven't seen that one yet, but I'm sure somebody out there has said it. I know the internet too well.
They're definitely a minority.
And
Yeah.
yeah, you know, you don't have these productive conversations on you know, what actually is the issue going on. What do you think they could have added? Blah 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 blah. But again, I don't want to make it sound like everybody thinks this. Like I said, most people I know, I don't know anybody complaining about it. They're liking it. I like it. So I just think it's interesting. It's been a growing topic I've seen in the last couple days.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
People defending the game and people attacking the game.
But I do believe that for sure.
Right.
Else?
Can't appease everybody.
No, you never will. That's why I tell people, like, sometimes things aren't for you. It's fine.
Yeah, it's
Go
totally
play something.
fine.
There's a bunch of shit that's not for me.
Does everything have to be for you? No.
No,
Yes,
it shouldn't be either.
Absolutely. Everything needs to be
would-
for me.
I'd be so fucking bored if everything was just meant for everybody. It'd be all so bland.
What else you been playing?
I've been playing Neo 2. Can't talk about it, but I've put some time into Neo 2.
You beaten it?
No. But I think I might be close.
Yeah, I heard there's more content than the original.
I watched a few videos recently, and apparently the amount of content's pretty ridiculous.
It's cool. I thought the
Yeah.
first game had plenty of shit to do, especially after you beat it. There's still shit to do.
In typical Souls games like style fashion, New Game Plus unlocks more stuff. So,
Yep, of course.
and of course, it's a looter.
Yeah. Loot.
That's like one of my favorite things about Neo outside the combat is awesome is you could sit there and like look for gear.
And it has Diablo like style systems where you can like modify stats and stuff. It's a big ass game.
There's a lot to do.
I'm gonna refrain from talking about too much because I almost just kind of started saying stuff about my opinions on it. Because I forgot.
And then the last game I've been playing, I just started playing it today, and I'm playing it all day, is Dead Cell.
Sick.
Having fun playing that. Yeah, little roguelike. It's a lot of fun.
That is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, roguelikes.
I enjoy it a lot. It's pixely. It's kind of old schooly looking, but super smooth. And the there's a lot of variety in every run. Although I always tend to gravitate towards the magic ability, so like the lightning whip and the freeze, like are my go-to for everything. I like being able to just CC everything to death.
Dude, I love getting like 2 turrets and just throwing them on the ground and then fighting them while my turrets unload on them. Like that's one of my go-tos. Then every once in a while I like try and do like a ranged build or whatever, but that game is fucking buttery smooth, plays fantastic. The action's awesome and fast paced. It almost feels like you gotta go fast. Like you don't have to, but half the time I'm like, I gotta move, and I'm like just jumping around, swinging and shooting and stuff like that. And there's a really cool thing too. I watched a little video on the people who made it, and they're talking about how they wanted the game to feel good when you play it, and they didn't want to punish you over stupid little things like jumping on a ledge and not making it correctly. Like your pixel might not touch the corner, so you just don't land. So they made it so even if you get close to it, your guy will step up on it because they didn't want that to be a factor in like how you died. And at first you're like, well, they're making that easier for other people. I was like, no, they just don't want to emphasize that. That's not part of the game. They want you to die from the combat. They not that like, oh man, I missed the edge by this little bit. And I kind of really appreciate their game design, especially when I've played that game a lot, and it's still, that's not a game like I go out of my way to play anymore. But when I do, just like I've like Netflix been looking through my PS4, my PS5. I'm like, what am I gonna play? I'll play Dead Cells while I wait and think of a game to play. I just play Dead Cells, and I'm just playing it the rest of the night, and then I go to bed. It's just such a easy game to play.
Yeah. It's really fun because the combat, like really, like you said, it feels like you want to go faster, and the combat really kind of pushes you with that, because the more you kill things, the faster your character starts moving. You get like this momentum going, so you start zipping through things, and if you're good enough, you can really like start clobbering enemies and just cruise through levels. It's really fun.
Yeah, there's also like there's like doors and stuff that will lock in a certain amount of time too, so it does benefit you to move fast as well, but obviously you don't have to if you're just trying to stay alive.
Right. And there's references galore in the game. I mean, I found a Half-Life, right? I found a head crab on the body, and I got the crowbar and the suit from Half-Life, so it was really cool.
You like Hades, you like Dead Cells. Have you played Rogue Legacy?
I have not, but I watched a lot of YouTube on it.
So good. And Rogue Legacy 2's out. I still haven't played it. But it was in early access, so I was like, I wanted to wait till it's done before I played it. But I would definitely, if you like those games, play Rogue Legacy. It's fucking awesome.
This is the one where you're rebuilding the city.
Oh, Moonlighter?
Moonlighter, yeah.
Moonlighter's really cool. I still haven't played Gravekeeper or something like that.
Oh, yeah. One? Where you're like, you have to
no Gravekeeper's like
that's like a
it's the wrong game.
A lifestyle game. Can't remember what they're called.
There's a game. Yeah. That's not the kind of game. There's a game I can't remember. There's a roguelike similar to like Moonlighter. I don't remember what the fuck it is now. But yeah, it had like other features as well as not just the combat. I play more Moonlighter. That game is fucking sick. It's funny. I used to not like roguelikes.
I got from Game Pass. There's like Slay the Spire that I beat with all 3 characters. I unlocked the hidden character. Been playing Dead Cell. There's something about, I can't remember the name of it, but you're like a miner, like a pickaxe miner. No, it's not Spelunky. I saw someone play it once. You literally like go around like a mine, like a top-down mine. You just like kill things with a pickaxe and stuff like that. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, that's not drawing. I can't think of what that is.
There's a couple roguelikes on Game Pass that I just, was like, man, I got in a mood to just download a bunch of them.
Might as well, yeah. You're not buying them, so
yeah,
perfect time to play them.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing.
Cool. Sounds like some good games. Anything else? We got a whole ass 48-minute video to watch. All right, let us know in the comments, what games have you guys been playing? What games would you recommend? What games are you planning on playing soon? What games are you not planning on playing? You play something you hate? Let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. All right, so we have a video to watch. It is Path of Exile, full presentation. Apparently they did a digital event in the last 24 hours showing off new season for Path of Exile, DLC, and the most exciting thing for me, Path of Exile 2. There's a trailer and a gameplay walkthrough talking about what to expect from this game. So we're going to watch that. We're going to talk about it, but quickly, we've talked about Path of Exile quite a bit on this channel. I wouldn't say we're huge fans and we know everything about it, so don't expect that from us. But I can speak for myself easily here and say that I really like Path of Exile a lot. We've played it twice on the channel and reviewed it twice on the channel. So if you're curious about our thoughts on that, make sure to check out those episodes where we played it for a month and talked about it. We did that recently. And I'm sure at some point we'll play Path of Exile again on the channel and review it again. It is a game that's going on forever, and with Path of Exile 2 coming out, it gives us another excuse to play it. So I'm highly anticipating watching this because I really love Path of Exile. I think it's one of the best ARPGs ever made. And I can't wait to see what they do with Path of Exile 2. I'm also curious to see what they're going to be doing to support Path of Exile moving into the sequel, because they're doing that weird Overwatch 2 thing where they're just kind of merge it into the next game. Yeah. I don't know. It's really interesting. So, yeah. Thoughts before we jump into watching this video? You guys anticipating Path of Exile 2 or anything about Path of Exile? Like I said, we've reviewed it before. So, me and Chevy have reviewed it high both times. Chris reviewed it high one time and reviewed it fine the second time. So, just to kind of give people an idea of how much we like it.
Really, I'm just kind of curious to see what they're going to do differently with Path of Exile 2, because when they made Path of Exile, they were just making a game they wanted to play that just happened to get traction, and now they have more of a fan base, and I assume financial backing now.
Dude, Path of Exile came out in, I think, 2013.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So shit's been out for a while. It's crazy.
So I am kind of interested to see what kind of steps they're taking. How much are they going to change up? Skill tree stuff, is that going to be similar system? They got a new idea they want to go with there. Is combat going to be the same speed? Are they going to speed it up more hyper-like? Are they going to keep...
That is something I'm curious about, is Path of Exile is notorious for its skill tree.
Yeah.
And just thinking about being the developer and going we got to do that again. It's already fucked up every time we have to update it. We have to do a whole new ass one, unless they're not. I don't know.
Unless they don't, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do.
I mean, they could go the Diablo 3 route, and maybe it's just a simplified system. I don't see them doing that, but they could do that. Just the pacing between combat and Diablo's changes from each title as well. So. Those are more things I'm curious about. And then the last thing I'm curious about is what the game is going to look like, because they do have more money now to make a game. So do they want to keep it faithful to the design they already have established, or do they want to kind of flex a little? So
that is interesting, because when the game was made, it was pretty much made by an indie developer with some past in the industry already. Some of the people had worked on Diablo 2, but now that they are established, I would easily say they're established now, because it's a really big free-to-play game.
And have investors.
They have investors. Yeah. They have years of experience working on the original Path of Exile. They are coming into 2 with a lot more to work with.
Stability.
Yeah. A lot, more solid ideas and foundation on how to make and execute on their ideas. And they got the funding, I'm sure, and all that stuff. So it'll be very interesting to see where they start, how big they can start, as opposed to when Path of Exile came out, we beat the content pretty quickly.
Yeah,
the original couple chapters for the fuck.
Yeah, the original game for sure. Yeah, when it first came out,
I remember beating. It's you've beaten the game, you can keep playing, but this is it.
Also, that boss was really fucked up at that time.
Originally, yeah. that was really fucked up.
I guess the other thing too, I'm kind of interested too, is the model they're going to choose. Or is it going to be a premium game? Is it going to be a free-to-play game? Or are you going to keep the same mentality as they have?
Pretty sure it's going to be free-to-play, because I think originally, unless they've changed it, they said that stuff was going to carry over from Path of Exile into Path of Exile 2. Similar to I remember when, I don't know if it's the same now, but when Overwatch 2 was originally announced, they said certain things were just going to carry over. Of course, you're going to have to buy Overwatch 2, but there's going to be a bunch of stuff that's supposed to carry over. I don't know if that's true anymore, but I remember they said that originally. Because that was interesting, because Path of Exile 2 got kind of announced around that time too.
Right,
where they had this similar idea of like this weird transition into a sequel as opposed to just dropping a brand new game or whatever.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean,
I think they're going to do something like that.
for sure. Well, and that's just kind of my whole thing is I do actually have curiosities because I do have some history with the game. I definitely do not play as much as the people who live in that game.
Yeah, if anybody's watching this expecting us to be like name dropping every little detail, every boss, everything that drops in the game, stuff like that, we're not that into it, but we definitely do like the game. So just appreciate that we enjoy the game that you enjoy, but we're not experts on it.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
I have to look up builds every time I play the game.
Oh, yeah. Every time I play the game, all my shit's refunded. I'm like, well, what am I going to build today? Chris, thoughts before we watch this?
I'm curious to see the art direction that they go with this. Whether, like he said, they stick with the old style design or they go with something newer. I'm hoping they go with something newer. It would make sense if they upgraded everything. But like, how are they going to do it? If it's going to be, what really is on my mind is what is going to draw me to play this over Diablo 4, because Diablo 4, even though it's it's a premium game, you got to buy it. This is supposedly going to be free to play. Hopefully, maybe, we don't know. The grittiness of Diablo 4 is really appealing to me. How dark they brought it back to, like, really visceral looking and feeling. And if they're going to add that into, the new Path of Exile, they're going to stay with that, because Path of Exile, if it's got blood everywhere, I mean, you don't get away from that. But, like, there's something about the new Diablo that's a really, really visceral feeling. And I'm curious as to what you're going to offer me in comparison to that, because there's things in Diablo 4 that I know of that are kind of throwbacks to older Diablos that I really enjoy, like the druid class, and that what do you offer me in competition to that kind of like throwback of that nostalgia and that new grittiness in your new game? That's what I'm really interested to see what they offer.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective, because for me, I'm like going to play both of them. It's going to be a typical situation for me where I don't have time to play both, but I'm going to try. But, if you are going to put the time into one or the other, which one are you going to settle on? And if Path of Exile 2 is free to play and one's premium, that's already a huge incentive for a lot of people to play it. But then,
Right.
Diablo will have that, hopefully, Blizzard money put into it. I'm going to say something real fucking controversial, real fucking, people might unsubscribe. I think Path of Exile is better than Diablo 3. Diablo 4 is looking very good, though. I'm very excited for Diablo 4 because it's looking like what I wanted Diablo 3 to be. That being said, I think Diablo 3, especially after its expansion, was fucking great. I loved playing it. But the pacing of Path of Exile is more akin to like Diablo 2, in my opinion. And I think Diablo 4 is going to try and course correct and maybe go back to that. It seems, I don't know, maybe they'll find a middle ground between 2 and 3. But so with the Path of Exile 2, we don't know much about it. I don't know what direction they're going to go. Maybe they're going to do, maybe this will be their Diablo 3 and it'll be like crazy and cell shaded. Holy shit, I'd be pissed. It's colorful, like this is Path of Exile 3 or 2. They just jump.
Fuck it.
I'd be extra pissed. I'm just getting angry now thinking about all this. So yeah, there's a lot of questions to be answered here, but it is a really good an interesting point for from your perspective. But I'm sure a lot of people share the same perspective. What ARPG that's coming out soon am I going to be devoting time to? Diablo 4, Path of Exile 2. What are they bringing that's going to make it enticing?
Right.
So yeah, it's interesting. Anything else?
Mm-mm.
All right, Chris, you ready?
Yep.
Let's watch this bitch in 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Thanks so much for joining us here today. And today is the day about Path of Exile. You're going to find out a lot of awesome stuff we've been working on. Before we get started though, I wanted to mention that there are Twitch drops that you can win. Below the live stream, there are some instructions for signing up and linking your Twitch account with your Path of Exile account. And if you do that, you'll be eligible to receive the drops. So today's live stream has got 4 sections. They say you should start your show with a bang, so we're going to start right off with Path of Exile 2. After that, we're going to show you Path of Exile Ultimatum.
Maybe we don't have to watch
this
this
is
whole
an expansion for regular Path of Exile that's coming out literally next week. After that, we're going to be joined by Ziggy D, who's going to host a Q&A where he asks me a whole bunch of questions from Twitch chat. So if you have any questions about the various reveals, make sure to keep them for the Q&A. Then there's going to be a live episode of the Bay Class podcast where Take Cat and his crew of Path of Exile veterans are going to discuss all of the things we've announced today. They'll be joined by Rory Rackham, who's the Grinding Geek Games developer who was in charge of the development of the Ultimatum League. All right, let's get started. You're probably wondering, why has it been so long since we last showed you any Path of Exile 2 footage? And honestly, this is because the project is so important to us that we are definitely taking our time to make sure that we make the best possible action RPG. Let's watch a new trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Among ancient ruins, evil grows once more.
Is that you, Tyrael?
Yep.
The seed of corruption advances, spreading dread and despair.
Oh.
We must give chase.
Looks better.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, so looks like that one we played.
Wilson?
Wilson, yeah.
The lighting's better. It does look like it's playing smoother, like less jerky.
Yeah. The animation's way better.
Damn.
These sands hide countless secrets.
Oh, I love the environment.
3,000 years of dormant malevolence. We must hunt down the seed and put an end to this madness. If Rayclast is to survive.
This is a huge step up in design, like level design from the last game. The UI looks pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah.
I'm glad they took kind of I doubt they took it from Wilson, but like Wilson had like really cool like backgrounds to the area you're playing in that made it feel like you were actually not just in a black box with a map. And I kind of noticed that here too, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, it looked good in that regard for sure.
That trailer really shows what we have achieved with Path of Exile 2. I am so proud of the efforts of the entire team in putting that together. At ExileCon, we announced that Path of Exile 2 is a true sequel to Path of Exile. So that means a new 7-act campaign, it means a whole new skill gem system, new items, new monsters, character classes, all the Ascendancy classes are completely new, it's got cutting-edge next-generation graphics as you just saw. Basically, it's everything you would expect from a sequel to Path of Exile. But we're not just throwing away our legacy, we're embracing it. Both campaigns will be fully playable from within the same game client. You'll be able to play through the original Path of Exile storyline or the new Path of Exile 2 campaign on the way to the shared endgame. All of your old characters will still be playable, and of course, any microtransaction purchases you've made in Path of Exile will carry on to the sequel.
Sick.
Okay,
At
cool.
ExileCon, we introduced the dark forests of the island of Ogden, where you start your journey.
friendly.
Today, we're proud to
As I was
showcase
saying,
Path
they
of Exile
earlier
2's
said
second act, which
that
takes
they were
place
going to
in
be
the
kind of like
Vastiri Desert.
merged.
Welcome to Path of Exile 2's second act. As you saw in the trailer, Act 2 is centered around a caravan of Maraketh called the Ardura who live in the Vastiri Desert. You're chasing another caravan from an opposing tribe called the Faradun. There's a set of large ancient gates blocking the progress of the caravan through a desert pass, so you're being sent through the Traitor's Passage to unlock them.
We shall wait here, Jingak. But the military carts have departed for the gates. Make
What did you
haste.
just call me?
The fuck did you say?
Path of Exile
Jingak?
2 is a lot more than
The hell
just
is
the
that?
acts. We want
It's
combat to
funny,
feel
that
both
transition
brutal
was
and
cool.
responsive,
Yeah.
even at low levels.
Yeah.
It's funny, like,
We're
thinking about
ensuring
the
that each
first
weapon type has
zones,
unique and different mechanics.
Path of Exile, and then,
Each
like,
weapon
seeing
class feels different
the
to play,
detail
and
even of
today
the
we're going to
rocks
start by
on the
demonstrating
walls
the
Yeah.
new spear
is
weapon
so
class.
much better.
Spears are a weapon class favoring
Then
mobility with both melee and ranged attack
beach you
options.
wake up on.
To that
Like-
end, each spear will grant you at least one mobility skill. In this
Ooh,
case,
spears.
the spear comes with both an engage and disengage skill. When you engage, it increases your melee damage for a short time, and that really encourages you to be mobile during combat. One of the skills we're using here is called Whirling Slash. When you use Whirling Slash, it creates a sandstorm that grows in size each time you use the skill. When you leave the sandstorm, it explodes, dealing damage to nearby monsters. A great way to do that is to use the Disengage skill, which makes you fly backwards and throw projectiles.
Kind of reminds me of the, what is it, the Amazon from Diablo 2?
Yeah.
Also shows their
In PoE 2, each area's mini-boss is a much more substantial fight with interesting mechanics. You'll be able to find at least one mini-boss in each area of the game. One thing I love about this boss in particular is that it destroys the ceiling when it slams the ground, letting in more light. Clever players will notice that if they're standing in the light, then they're not going to have any rocks falling on their head.
Interesting. That's cool. There's like environmental
The rapid
shit going on.
assault skill that we're using against this boss does 3 rapid stabs, followed by a 4th stab that deals more damage and can stun, if you're willing to commit to a long
The
attack time.
animations are good.
While developing the skills for Path of Exile 2, we were really thinking a lot about designing skills that could be cancelled early to dodge, or you can commit to the full attack for maximum damage.
Oh, that sounded satisfying. Not even playing. I was like, oh, that's a good sound.
Oh yeah.
Can't disrupt the rhythm of combat.
One of the skills we're using here is called Spear Field, which creates an area of spears coming out of the ground that impale monsters who walk into them, causing them to bleed. As the monsters move towards you, they take damage, so using your mobility skills as a way to move away from them is a great strategy here. In Path of Exile 2, we've invested a lot in our animation system. I'm sure you're noticing the animations are looking a lot better than they did in PoE 1.
Yep.
But there's also a lot of subtle detail, like characters having
Yeah,
different
that's
run
cool.
animations depending on how fast they're moving. When we use a Quicksilver Flask here, you can see the character changes to a sprinting animation.
I get to play the first storyline on this engine? That's
I don't know if you're playing on this engine, but it's saying that you could play the first
Both the
campaign, the
same.
first game, and the second game in the same launcher, essentially, and they're going to have a shared end game. And all your microtransaction actions will be accessible in both games. They're supposed to have different classes. It would be cool if they updated the original game's engine, but I don't know if they said that or not.
yeah, I didn't hear him say that.
Now that we've arrived at the Ancient Gates, we're going to show you another of the new weapon classes in Path of Exile 2, crossbows. Crossbows are
Sick.
special in that they grant attack skills implicitly. This particular crossbow grants Power Shot, which is a high damage single target attack. In order to modify what Power Shot does, you're going to need to equip bolt skill gems, which change the type of bolts that are loaded into the crossbow. Here we've got 3 different bolt skills that the character can switch between depending on the situation.
Armor-piercing bolts. Incendiary bolts.
Double whammy.
Permafrost bolts can be used to disrupt
Double
packs of
whammy.
enemies to prevent them from closing in on your position. You can then follow up with armor-piercing bolts to do plenty of damage.
Oh yeah.
You missed it when it froze the dude. He was like the point of the...
In this area,
Oh, I
we're helping
swear.
Asala, leader of the Ardura, to open the ancient gates and let the caravan through.
Oh yeah. I see.
Okay.
Super
That is really cool.
Armor-piercing bolts.
Actually, it looks like X hits him. Splits because of that.
I'm stoked they're saying this game's
Because the
coming
bolt
out like
types
a
are the
full
skill
campaign.
gems, support gems that are
Yeah,
active
7X.
will modify
It's
whatever
crazy.
the skill is that you're using. Here we're going to
Especially,
add
like,
multiple
the experience
projectiles
of
to our incendiary bolt.
Playing the first one off and on over the years.
Incendiary
First one.
bolts. Lay them all.
Halfway through.
Permafrost bolts. Armor-piercing
Like a
bolts.
little environment.
Get it, then you step in.
For sure.
Permafrost bolts. Incendiary bolts. Armor-piercing bolts. Permafrost bolts. Incendiary bolts.
In
The
Path of
Judge
Exile
Dredd
2, we're
vibes
doing a
are
lot more
fucking-
interesting things with monster packs. Here you
I
can
like
see
that
some
they
of the
say it
monsters
though
patrolling
constantly
around.
because you get in that audio cue for sure to acknowledge that that is what you have out.
I also like that line of sight there that just happened. The enemies didn't see them go around the tent. Instead of just being like aware of like an aura around them and just coming at you.
Yeah. Whoa.
That's cool.
Incendiary bolts.
If you're using the environment like to the full extent, it feels like.
Armor-piercing bolts.
The shadows.
Yeah.
Permafrost bolts.
That's the thing we're like in Wilson is a lot of the environmental stuff.
Optimization. Poor Gabe. Talk about games with rough start.
I like that game so much I overlooked all the problems it had.
I don't usually like playing on range classes in.
Now we're coming to another
RPGs,
example of a
but
Path of
the
Exile 2
crossbow
mini-boss, Lim the Impaler.
That's cool looking.
Incendiary bolts. Armor-piercing bolts.
The boss has dropped another type of crossbow, a siege crossbow. This crossbow grants the Siege Cascade skill. The skill is also modified depending on what type of bolts you're using.
Interesting.
Oh.
Weird.
It's interesting the type of crossbow changes. That.
How the skills interact? Yeah.
I don't think I've seen a game do a crossbow that rains down arrows.
Outside of like a skill that does it, but yeah. It's typical to have like an arrow shoot in the air and drop move, but as it to be like your attack, your main attack, it's interesting.
It's definitely a slight departure from the first game because you can have skills that are based on like certain weapons, but like the weapons themselves never adjusted the skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a uniqueness.
Kind of reminds me of Wilson.
Yeah.
It seems like they kind of took some ideas from it.
I'm sure they looked at it.
We tried to add a lot more little details to
great
combat in
ideas,
Path of
it just
Exile
had
2. You might
fun
notice that the
problems.
monsters who
Well, and
die
also
while
it had a lot
burning
of
have charred
attention when it
corpses.
first came out, too,
We really
so-
want to make sure that
Oh,
there's
yeah,
a
that's
feeling
why
that
people were
as you
so
leave the
angry.
battlefield, there's clear evidence of what combat took place there.
I love the ice effects.
Yeah, the fire looks fine, but the ice is way like the enemy's freezing.
Well, and they have like trails of ice on them. They're not just, they don't just turn white and stop moving.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they have to like design for enemy. Unless they have an engine which any character model will have frost develop on them and the signals come out of them. Just probably
Incendiary bolts.
With how smooth it looks like a fighter, that'd probably be interesting playing fast. Just the spell effects and fluid
Incendiary
motion.
bolts.
Probably good.
I love the little rock bugs.
Yeah.
Incendiary bolts. Incendiary bolts. Permafrost bolts. Incendiary bolts. Armor piercing.
Even the enemy animations look a lot better, like the way they're swinging their swords and shit.
This is the perennial king, the leader of the Faradun. His goal here is to prevent you from catching the caravan at any cost.
Piercing bolts.
I was funny how you couldn't like, freeze him, but he still had frost on him. So gross.
Yeah.
Like it. Give me all the blood magic.
It's just trying to get that short.
Dude, that lady's just fucking Tesla coil over there, just shocking away.
We will finish this, but not
Make
Hey.
haste. He must not escape.
Come back, bitch.
This is a much longer preview of the game I was expecting to.
Quickly.
Yeah, me too.
He conjures the very sands against us.
This madness has gone on long enough. The king is not the man I once knew. And send swallow me if I do any more to enable him. You plan to continue your pursuit, yes? You will not catch him. Not without me.
We cannot follow through the raging sands. Let us return to the caravan and question this defector.
This is the Ardura caravan, your town in Act 2.
That's cool.
I am Asala, the Sycamore of the Ardura. I care not where you came from, nor what caste you might have been there. All that
All the
matters
physics and
is
stuff
that
too,
you have
everything
shown
movement's
yourself
cool.
capable in battle, Jingak. Remain a friend to the Ardura.
They're really like
and you shall have nothing but respect.
getting
from
big
us.
with their ideas and like the visuals and stuff. The
From
original
what your
game
shade has told us,
felt like
the situation is
classic.
dire.
Classic
This
RPG
barbarian
in the way it's
will
designed
live
like
or
that.
die
Of
based
course,
on
it
her
was made a
usefulness
while ago,
in
but also
pursuit of the
it
seed
was
of corruption.
definitely very inspired
Ask
by
her what
Diablo 2.
questions you will.
Later in the game, it
We
gets a little
Ardura
crazier.
Yeah, I was
But,
gonna say it's
uh,
funny because the game was developed over the course of years. You can tell what was developed
Yep.
later.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very transparent.
This though feels a lot of the stuff feels similar. The UI, the HUD, inventory, all that stuff.
Only that you do what you
But
know
visually,
is
it still
right.
does
One of the
look like
things we
Path
really
of
wanted
Exile,
to do in
but
Act 2
the
was use
imagination
the
is
ability of
just
the caravan to allow the
bigger.
player to choose how they explore the act. Here you're given 4 options on how to proceed.
that's cool.
There is a tribe of lost men that inhabits the Mastodon Badlands. They worship the bones of those long ago beasts, and that faith has given rise to powerful tusks that can somehow call on storms and
It's like
strike
the,
enemies with lightning.
The dialogue bubble with the
king wishes
picture
to
of them, yeah, I
steal
think it looks
these
really good,
objects
really
of
clean.
worship and use their lightning in war. Do what you must.
Though events demand you tread upon a valley of the dead, do not do so flagrantly.
I do what I
Keep
want.
your presence light.
Give me the blood magic. I'll be a
Cleanse what
necromancer.
corruption you can, and we shall skirmish with the Faradun to protect
Give me
your
the blood
flank.
magic.
Once you've picked your
Give it the
destination, the
blood.
caravan will travel to that area and come to a stop so that you can disembark and go on your quest.
That's cool.
Oh, neat.
It's like you're on a cool journey.
Because
an
we just got the
interesting
Storm Sphere skill as a quest reward, now would be a great time to switch back to spears and use some ranged
Look
abilities.
at the
It's-
gem menu.
It's so much like cleaner.
Yeah, instead of you having to
Storm
look
Spear fires a lightning projectile
at
which
like
splits
each
on
piece of gear
contact.
individually and hover
Yeah.
over them. Oh, lightning, thank
Oh, that's cool looking too.
The other skill we're using here is called Blazing Lance. Blazing Lance creates a trail of
Ah,
fire on the
cool.
ground,
Cool
dealing
fire
damage
effect.
over time.
Yeah.
However, if you're willing to stand
The
in place for
electricity
long
though,
enough,
man,
you can
like
throw a second
looking at all
spear
the
that will fan
details
the
of it, like
flames for
arcing
much more
everywhere and
damage.
shit, it's really fucking cool looking.
you. Big electricity fan. Right.
Very flashy.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they really upped their game. Because like a lot of the moves in
We've just
PoE
found a
is just
unique spear. It's called
boom, and
Devata's
just
Wind.
splash
This
damage,
spear
boom,
has an extra
boom,
modifier
boom,
that synergizes really well with Storm Spear. When you disengage, you get 2 additional projectiles on your projectile skills.
Not that combat is uninvolved in RPGs in general, but PoE, but it also sounds like this game is trying to make combat more involved. Like you have to think about stuff in the moment.
Well, a trap that most RPGs fall into, and this may as well, this is
Yeah.
obviously a showcase,
Yeah.
Right.
is you have the move
Oh,
you
yeah.
just spam. My Diablo 3, my wizard, it was just throw orbit group, throw orbit
Yep.
group, throw orbit group. Like,
Well, there's a build for a while too with the wizard in Diablo 3 where you just use that like laser out of the sky and just like go through people. In PoE, a lot of people end up getting a move that has a lot of splash damage and they spam that over and over again to do it as well. Luckily, the build I'm using right now has like 4 moves to get the most out of them. But once you get that kind of muscle memory down, that rotation, like fucking, you're just doing that over and over and over again, which I don't mind. I like killing shit. I like leveling. I like getting gear, but
I like hearing that nice crispy sound when loot drops.
But if they can find ways to, give you in those moments like some other option that would be something different in your combat, it'd definitely be welcome.
Yeah.
This environment's fucking awesome looking. It's really detailed.
Wouldn't be an ARPG without people summoning some fucking monster.
Look what I can do. The enemy design and the environments are like so much better than the first game. And I like the way the first game looks. They're so much better. I was like, this is like,
These aren't rows.
yeah.
Endless rows.
Weird football things just waddling at you.
The music changed though.
Those two bosses.
Oh.
I'm so stoked for and Wolcen's the first taste of it. There's that other Korean one I haven't played of the next gen of RPGs because they're starting to look like really fucking good. And I'm looking at the animations of that boss, and like I really like the way it moves and the design and everything. And then same thing with Wolcen. I was like, Wolcen's like the first like next gen RPG. And then Diablo 4 is looking sick. Forgot the name of the Korean RPG. It was supposed to come out. People wanted it to come out here. People kept speculating it was going to come out.
Localization's tricky.
One is like a free-to-play game, and like that doesn't excite me too much. I mean, PoE is as well, but they're like the one example of like how to do it right. A lot of free-to-play like RPGs, I typically don't like. Unless I'm over those, so that's just me not liking fucking Borderlands anymore.
That was interesting. They had the 2 hit point bars on the top, and as soon as one of the bosses died, the other bosses took the space and became larger.
If you have any questions about what you just saw, we'll be doing a Q&A later on. While Path of Exile 2 definitely won't be released this year, we do have a Path of Exile expansion you can play 1 week from now. I'd like to introduce Path of Exile Ultimatum.
1 week.
You only live once, Exile. Make your choice.
YOLO. Yeah, it's funny because like I think the game looks fine, but after the last game, this is really giving me a sense of like how much more
Leave with your life
the sequel is looking in every
risk
department.
it all for a chance at ungodly riches.
Godly
For each
riches,
trial
godly
you accept,
riches.
the challenge grows. But fail and leave with nothing.
Okay. It's like a roguelike.
This was
Yeah. Horde mode or something. Damn, that mode was fucking crazy.
Reap
Look at all
the
those
reward
goddamn
you deserve.
legendaries.
Look at that loot.
8 new gems? I didn't know there were new gems. Man, don't fucking do this to me. I can't be playing this right now. I got too many games to play.
yeah, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, I can't do it, but I want to.
Rework everything.
Yeah, they reworked a lot of shit. Damn, they did rework everything. Even the bestiary.
Ultimate reward requires ultimate risk. Face the ultimatum.
April 16th.
Man, fuck your ultimatum. I'm facing shit.
When some people think of the Val civilization, they think of blood sacrifices, or Queen Atziri, or lost temples in the jungle. But
Blood
I
magic.
think of risking your items.
Blood
From Val
magic?
orbs through double corruption, the whole Val or no balls meme, we had to make sure that this expansion was about the concept of risking your items to get great reward. In each area of the Ultimatum League, you'll meet the Trial Master, an emissary of a vile entity only known as Chaos. On behalf of Chaos, the Trial Master enacts trials where exiles must risk an escalating set of valuable rewards as they attempt to overcome progressively more difficult
Chaos. I'd be
encounters.
like, your name's Chaos.
Each trial
okay,
will be
bro.
presented with a reward, an objective, and a selection of difficulty modifiers that make the trial harder. Once you've chosen one of the modifiers, you must then complete that objective under the constraints of that modifier in order to win the promised reward.
You promised me.
If you succeed in the challenge, the Trial Master will present you with an ultimatum. Either walk away with what you have earned so far, or risk it all to try to win additional rewards. He'll offer you another item if you can select an additional difficulty modifier and complete the challenge with both modifiers
So you
present.
get to pick.
If you fail, though, you'll lose both rewards and walk away with nothing. If you succeed, you'll be offered an additional reward in exchange for adding yet another
Yeah, there's a
difficulty
lot
modifier
fucking
that
going
stacks
on
top
right
of the
now.
current ones. This cycle continues until the rewards
Just
become
mash
increasingly
one button and
valuable
let
and the
God
encounter
take the wheel.
extremely difficult.
See
You'll
what
have to pick a
happens.
point to end your run and claim your spoils before you make the encounter too hard and lose everything. At its longest, an ultimatum in endgame maps can sometimes have up to 10 fast trials in a row, with a special surprise in the last one. In maps, you'll occasionally find items called inscribed ultimatums.
Ooh,
These
glowing
items can be
items.
placed in the map device to transport you to the Trial Master's domain. Each inscribed ultimatum specifies an offering that you must bring with you, a reward you can earn, and an assortment of ultimatum difficulty modifiers. If you're able to complete the Trial Master will reward you with a specified reward, which is usually worth around twice the value of the item you must bring. For example, you may be asked to risk an Exalted Orb to win a stack of 2, or potentially risk a stack of 5 to win a stack of 10. Naturally, inscribed ultimatums can be traded with other players, so if you don't feel
That's the
capable
thing
of
that's so
completing
hard
a
about how
difficult
the EXILE
challenge,
trying to get
you
back
may be able
into
to
it.
trade
It's
it
like
away
they've
for a
made so
portion of the
many of
difference in
these,
price
like,
between the reward and the
things
item
you
that
can
must be
do
risked.
that I'm
Likewise,
like, so
if
I
you have
can
a
just do
powerful
that. That's
character,
the
you
game
may be able
now.
to selectively
Like
trade
they have
for
this
profitable
mining you go through.
ultimatums
It's
to
old.
run.
Anyone who plays it currently is probably like, that's old.
There are
But,
also
like,
new unique
I remember
items
when I
that
came
can
back
be
into the
obtained
game,
from
they're like, there's
Ultimatum.
this like fucking
One such unique is the
mine you
Glimpse
can go
of
through and
Chaos
make
Val
progress,
Mask,
and there's
which
checkpoints,
provides
and there's
powerful
things you unlock
benefits
as
to
you go through. I'm
maximum
like,
life,
this is its own game.
mana, and energy shield at the
There's all
cost
sorts
of
of
There's a
shit.
lot of
severely
like
reduced
extra
elemental
content that they've added
resistances
that
and no
when hopping
chaos
back in, it
resistance.
feels very overwhelming.
The item can be
sometimes.
corrupted
it's-
multiple
it is
times
very
and has unique
overwhelming.
corruption outcomes, such as removing a random modifier or
Yeah, I mean,
transforming
just
it
like
into a
an MMO,
different
you just-
random corrupted unique
you can't
helmet
look at all the
entirely
stuff
that
for-
retains its
whoa.
corruption implicit
Get
mod.
that feel. You just play, man.
Yeah, do one at a time.
Another new
yeah,
Val
figure it out
unique
as you
item in
go. That
Ultimatum
fucking
is
helmet was cool,
Mahuzothl's
though.
Machination, which grants you 6 keystone passives at once. Combining all of these keystones results in some very unusual outcomes, and the item features an entirely new unique keystone as well. We have worked hard to make sure that Ultimatum doesn't punish you for being in a party with other players. Party members compete in trials together, but have separate rewards available to them that will need to be locked in to begin the trial. Each player votes on which difficulty modifiers to select. If there's a draw in votes, the modifier will be chosen at random. If one player wants to take their reward and opt out of the next difficult trial, they're able to do so without stopping the other party members from continuing. Rewards
Nice.
are dropped allocated to the players who earned them. So that's Path of Exile Ultimatum. I can tell
I was
you
just
on
thinking,
release
like,
day,
it'd be
a lot
annoying
of
if you're
our
playing
developers are
somebody
looking
that,
forward to
like,
watching
yeah,
Twitch so we can see
group, and
players
some
risking
guy's like,
far
I'm
too
not
much
going
in
any
order to
further,
try to get
guys,
good
and they
rewards.
bail. Like, where the fuck are you
Speaking
going?
of
But then I was
rewards,
thinking maybe you're
there's a
going
lot
for
to
so
talk
long,
about
somebody's
here.
like, I gotta
We
go.
had a
And
look
they
at
gotta
Path
leave
of
and do
Exile's vast
something. That
reward
makes sense
systems.
to me.
Well,
And we
I
I was
honestly
like, if I was
feel
playing
many
with
of them
someone
are
like
out of
Josh,
date,
they're like, oh
many
no,
of
man,
them
I
kind
can't
of
do the
lack
next wave. And he's
identity,
like,
and
fucking
to top it
left.
all
I'd be
off,
like,
like
you
the core
motherfucker.
drop pool of just
Yeah,
items that drop
they
when you
took
kill
the
regular monsters
Perfect
just wasn't
Warfare
really
mask where,
compelling
like,
enough.
you leave, but
Like, you know that
everyone
feeling
can
where
still
any
stay.
monster could drop a
Yeah.
mirror? We want that for a whole slew of different items. And so we've made a lot of changes to Path of Exile's reward systems. There's a bunch of ones to the core drop pool to keep it really interesting. There's ones to basically every piece of League and expansion specific content. And we're going to go through all of those for quite a while now. And I should mention that every change we're about to discuss not only affects the Ultimatum League, but also Standard League too.
That's everything.
We started by reviewing which items can drop from monsters and chests in the core game. To make sure the core drop pool remains compelling, we've made various changes. You can now find 2 additional currency items as core drops, Orbs of Binding from the Harbinger League, and the new Veiled Chaos Orb, which we'll reveal in more detail soon. We've also added 5 new Atlas base types, like this Energy Shield Recharge Amulet. These drop in specific regions of the Atlas of Worlds and have some powerful new implicit mods. Another topic related to the core drop pool is that of boss runs. Veteran community members will remember when people used to do Val Oversoul or Dominus runs over and over because they were a profitable use of time. Final Act bosses now drop more and better items, giving you a much more satisfying close to a difficult act and a more item-focused approach to getting ready for maps if you prefer. We have also added a bunch of very powerful and valuable League-specific uniques into the core drop pool. This means that they can drop from any sufficiently high-level monster without you having to engage with specialized content. Examples of these are Badge of the Brotherhood, Asylum, Pledge of Hands, Maloney's Mechanism, Brutus's Lead Sprinkler, and Headhunter. The goal of all of these changes is to make sure that every monster you kill in Path of Exile has a chance to drop something
yeah, that seems like something that might be special.
On top of all of that, we have added a handful of new vendor recipes, which let you make some pretty cool stuff. We really miss the days when players were scrambling to try to find unknown recipes, and so we're looking forward to seeing how long it takes for you to discover how these ones work. We have also introduced a new type of reliquary key into the core drop pool for this expansion. If you're very lucky, you can find a Val reliquary key from any monster or chest in Path of Exile. When consumed in the map device, it gives you access to a vault with a chest that drops a special foil version of a Val-themed unique item. Each unique has an equal chance of dropping. Due to the value and power level of the items contained within, this is the rarest reliquary key ever added to Path of Exile. The rest of our reward changes relate to items that you can earn by playing past content like prior leagues and expansions. We have two goals here. The first is to add and improve items so that all past content is a compelling set of rewards. The second goal is to make it so that the best way to get any reward is to play the content that is primarily associated with that type of reward. Path of Exile's first expansion, Sacrifice of the Val, introduced a new ultimate boss, Adzeri, Queen of the Val. This fight holds up pretty well these days, considering that it is 7 years old, but its rewards really needed a refresh. The Sacrificial Garb base type that drops from Adzeri has been significantly improved with the addition of an implicit mod that grants +1 to the level
Jesus
of all
Christ,
Val
have I played it a lot.
Well,
we have also added 2 new unique items to Adzeri's drop pool and 2 more to Uber
coming back to play through
one of which is the Adzeri's Rule Judgment Staff, which prevents you from
being stunned
this
whole thing does sound like they're kind of getting this game ready
that alternates between Flames of Judgment and Storm of Judgment when used, as if you absorb the powers of Adzeri herself.
She's doing very conflicting
Skipping
things
forward to
to my brain.
2016's release of Ascendancy, we have made some changes to how you receive your Labyrinth enchantments. Previously, when you completed the Labyrinth and went to enchant an item, you couldn't see what random result you'd get. Now, the result for each type of enchantment is shown to you in advance so you can make the right choice. In the Eternal Labyrinth, you're now offered 3 different helmet enchantments to pick between, in addition to the boots and gloves. This will make it a lot easier to find enchantments relevant to the skills you're using and to apply them to appropriate items. In 3.14, we're going to stop giving out unique jewels for each day's fastest Labyrinth runs, and we have added these jewels as very rare drops that you might find in the Labyrinth's final reward chests. Another highly requested Labyrinth-related improvement is that you can now consume an offering to the goddess and the map device to open portals directly to a random trial. This greatly accelerates the speed at which you can find your final trials. We have also added 2 new Labyrinth-specific unique items, including the Scales of Justice unique shield, which rewards building your character with a careful balance of life and mana. If used correctly, you'll be granted protection from shock and ignite, as well as additional fire damage. Kadira Perandus now has a much larger selection of unique item rewards. We have also rebalanced all sources of Perandus coins so that Perandus content is still the best place to get them from. A craft introduced in Harvest kinda destroyed the Perandus coin economy, so we're absolutely fixing that at the same time. Essences have been numerically rebalanced and are in general stronger than they were before. Screaming Essences can now be used to reroll rare items, in addition to their capability to upgrade items to rare.
Man, this is all just going like over my head.
Have had some of their less useful outcomes improved.
No idea what's happening.
There's
the only way to get
the
the powerful upgrade-only top-tier essences is through remnants of corruption, which come from essence content. Blessings, the currency used to upgrade breach uniques, can now be used to upgrade breach stones between tiers also. Abyss jewels have been rebalanced and are on average more powerful than they were before. We have also buffed Abyss chests to make sure that they are the best place to get Abyss jewels. We have also introduced Abyss Scarabs and have added 4 new Abyss-specific unique jewels, such as Tekrod's Gaze, a murderous eye jewel that increases your main hand critical strike chance and your offhand critical strike multiplier based on how many murderous eye jewels you have equipped.
A whole new game.
Another example is the Ulaman's Gaze Searching Eye Jewel, which counts how many Searching Eye Jewels you have equipped and grants your projectiles a chance to be able to chain when colliding with terrain proportional to this number. These unique jewels have a chance to drop
Like,
from
this
any
much
of the unique
changes
encounters at the end of the
makes me wanna,
abyssal
like,
depths,
dive back
and
in
these
and
encounters
see
are now by
what
far
the
the most
experience is
reliable
like.
way to obtain a Stygian Vice belt. We have added a handful of new beastcrafts, such as add a mod to a map or add a mod to an influenced item, which consume existing beasts. There are some other aspects of beastcrafting that we've been keeping our eye on for a while, and we're taking this opportunity to rework them, so that high-level gameplay is less reliant on obtaining certain beastcrafts. Now, when you use a splitting beastcraft recipe on an item, both copies are marked as split, which prevents them from being split again. You cannot imprint split items. One of my favorite reward changes in this expansion is that Incursion's Temple of Atsuatl can now be itemized. Once you have access to the map device, Alva can turn your completed and ready-to-run temple into a tradable object that can be consumed in the map device. This means that players can specialize in either making temples to trade to other players or trading for temples that are ready for
That's
them to run.
interesting.
Yeah, it's neat. Like you make a dungeon.
There have also
and
been a
you
lot of
trade
changes to the
with
temple.
people.
As you may know, specific rooms in the Temple of Atsuatl can drop unique incursion items that can be later upgraded. Many of these base unique items have been improved in this update. Previously, the temple's boss, the Omnitect, dropped random rare items with special incursion mods on them. Now it also drops rare items with incursion mods based around the themes of the rooms your temple contains. Higher tier rooms cause more rare items.
God, watching that person's
Specific
health
rooms now add
almost go away
specific monster
constantly.
packs to the
Yeah.
temple, which results in more monster
God, when
density,
they're
challenge,
playing
and
Panic,
reward.
yeah.
PoE 2, fucking
Temple
there's a
mods
couple
have been
times where the
buffed
health
so that if
went
your
real
temple
low.
has more
Ugh.
high tier rooms, then is equivalent to a good map. We have performed a modernization pass on rewards from temple rooms so that they're competitive with rewards from newer leagues. The explosive room also contains some basic chests that can be opened with flash powder kegs if you don't need them for opening a path elsewhere in the temple. Delve has had a big increase to early rewards and a reduction to the quantity of high-tier rewards spawning at very deep depths. The end result is that Delve is a lot more rewarding for almost everyone, but a few extreme players who delve very deep will not be getting quite so rich from it. A big problem with rewards and Betrayal is that players deem it not worthwhile to kill Katarina, because it resets your Betrayal Syndicate board. In this expansion, we have massively increased the incentive for doing this. Now if you manage to kill Katarina, all Syndicate members drop their rewards at one tier higher than they previously would. This change required the introduction of a new 4th tier of reward from each Syndicate member and encourages the use of a larger variety of Syndicate targets and safe house leaders. We have improved rewards that were not as interesting or valuable as the best ones. For cases where we deemed rewards too powerful, we moved them to tier 4 rather than nerfing them. The tier 4 rewards are approximately twice as powerful as tier 3 ones were. We have also added a new unique item to Katarina's drop pool as further incentive for killing her. The Cane of Kulamak drops only from Katarina. Similar to Paradoxica, it has 3 veiled modifiers that must be unveiled one at a time
Anytime I
via
kill a
Jun.
boss in that game
This
and
means
they
that
just
each version of the
drop, like,
cane
the whole
could be
screen
entirely
full,
different,
like,
and because of the way the
Jesus
veiled
Christ,
modifier
okay, hold
system
on a
works,
second.
you have the chance to get 3 mods that potentially synergize extremely well, or maybe just a crazy bag of mods that don't work together. Furthermore, the cane itself scales up the magnitudes of any unveiled modifiers on it. We have made some changes to how unveiling mods works. You still get offered a choice of 3 mods, but these are now more powerful versions of the existing ones. The powerful ones are unveiled onto items, and the normal versions are the ones you unlock that can be crafted onto items. Also, progress towards unlocking crafting of veiled mods is at a slightly faster rate than before. Some very powerful veiled modifiers are now only available at their original strength on the unveiled version of the modifier, and the crafted version of the modifier has been lowered in power. Earlier in the presentation, I alluded to the new Veiled Chaos Orb as an item that has been added to Path of Exile's core drop pool. This new
changed
currency
the
item
whole
rerolls the target item
game.
in new mods, like a regular Chaos Orb does, but one mod is guaranteed to be a Veiled mod. While it can drop from any monster or chest in the game, by far the most effective way of getting it is from Isling and some Betrayal safe houses. We have introduced 3 new types of incubators for Blight, Metamorph, and Delirium, and have modernized the rewards from the other incubators. The item yield from chests and blighted maps is now affected by a portion of the map item's quantity, giving you a reason to roll your blighted maps if you can handle the additional challenge. Anointments to blighted maps have been rebalanced and reworked so that each has its own purpose and with a consistent increase in reward as the oils get rarer. This is basically entirely buffs, because one big nerf we needed to do was already done last league. You can now corrupt blighted maps. These can very rarely drop the new tainted oil, which allows you to apply anointments to corrupted items. We have also introduced blighted scarabs.
This whole thing is just reminding me how much fucking game there is.
We have
to this
added
game.
2 new types of catalysts
Jesus.
themed around speed and critical strikes, respectively. These new catalysts are rarer than previous ones.
It's one reason why I
As
really like
discussed
Path
in the
of
recent
Exile.
Development
It's like
Manifesto, the current 3.13
way
version
deeper
of
than
Harvest is
like
too
most
rewarding.
RPGs are going
So we're rebalancing its crafting and
but also most
increasing how
RPGs
often
aren't
you'll
in
encounter
development for
portals to the
7 years.
Sacred Grove.
Right.
The current version spams you with way too many crafts, so each seed has a chance to grant a craft now, reducing the overall number of crafts you can perform per garden, though you will encounter the grove 60% more than you did before. Some of the most powerful crafting options have been removed or changed. The Heart of the Grove encounter is now a map fragment that can randomly drop from Tier 4 harvest bosses instead of rarely replacing the entire grove when it spawns. With the release of Ultimatum, Ritual will be added to the core game, with a chance to occur in each map you play. It has also been added to the Atlas passive skill tree system and is available as a Sexton mod. Almost every time we release a league, we later roll it into the core game with a chance to spawn in maps, usually 10%, sometimes 5%. When Ritual is added to the core game, we are standardizing this rate at 8%, which means a small decrease for some leagues and an increase for Harvest. We've rebalanced other things to compensate, like the rate at which heist rogues level up. Most Atlas passive trees have the same increase in chance for bonus content, meaning they now offer more than double the chance of encountering your preferred content. So I just spent a ton of time describing lots of buffs to Path of Exile's different reward systems, and there was one nerf that I left to last. And this gives us a nerf to a league that I kind of care about a bit. Talisman was one that I kind of led the design on, and players joke that it's my favorite league. Now, in the 3.12.3 content update, there was a change to talismans. Basically, they weren't good enough, so the team decided to add a random anointment to them, which made them a lot more powerful, and also to juice up the mods to make them well-rolled. And that was overkill. Like, as you've seen recently, talismans have just been dropping with insane mods and great anointments. And we felt in this expansion, especially because you can use tainted oils in order to redo the anointments on talismans, because now you can modify corrupted amulets.
Blood.
Honestly, they don't need the well-rolled mods anymore.
blood.
And so we've removed that. Talismans are still compelling, but they're not quite where they were in the last league. Every Path of Exile expansion needs new ways for players to slaughter their enemies. In Path of Exile Ultimatum, this takes the form of 4 new skill gems and 4 support gems. In line with Ultimatum's Val theme, these gems focus on blood. The idea is spending life rather than mana to use your skills. Alongside the new skill and support gems, we've also made some adjustments to the low life mechanic, including changing the low life threshold to 50%. This makes it much easier and safer to stay on low life for builds where it matters. Typically when players create low life builds, they rely on energy shield to protect themselves against incoming damage. The new skill Petrified Blood enables low life builds to instead use some of their life pool to absorb hits. While it's active, you can't recover life above 50% through any method other than flasks. Sources of life recovery like life regeneration and life leech only apply to the bottom half of your life pool. Additionally, a portion of incoming hit damage that affects the lower half of your life pool is spread out over time rather than being applied instantly. Corrupting Fever consumes a chunk of your life and grants you a buff that causes all your hits to apply corrupted blood to your enemies. Corrupted blood stacks up with each hit, causing more and more physical damage over time. When you have consumed a certain amount of life to cast skills from your life pool, the buff's duration refreshes. Essentially, as long as you're consuming life to use skills, you'll be causing damage over time to stack on enemies. Be careful though. The Exsanguinate skill shoots tendrils of blood in front of you at the cost of life rather than mana. In addition to a strong physical damage hit, it also applies a physical damage over time debuff, which can stack up to 3 times. You can also support Exsanguinate so that its tendrils chain from one target to the next.
That's cool.
Reap conjures a giant bloody scythe that swings across a selected area, applying strong hit damage and physical damage over time. Each use of the skill causes it to gain a charge that scales its damage up and increases its life cost up to 5 times. These charges drop off over time as well as after killing enemies, making Reap very powerful at stacking up damage against single targets. We've also added 2 new support gems that have split the existing blood magic support into 2 separate support gems. The first of these is the Arrogance support, which causes supported skills to reserve life instead of mana and also provides an increase to the effect of auras that it supports. Just like the original blood magic support gem, the reservation multiplier diminishes as the gem levels up.
Good lord, the health pool.
The Life Tap support gem causes supported skills to cost life instead of mana. Once you've consumed a certain amount of life to use a skill, you gain Life Tap, which increases your damage for a few seconds. The Cruelty support gem grants a buff called Cruelty, which increases the damage over time you deal with supported skills. It also boosts the hit damage from supported skills, and the Cruelty buff gets stronger the harder you hit. This gem is designed as an additional option for builds that focus on both hits and damage over time.
When there's like all those enemies on screen at once,
The Bloodthirst support gem is a new option for low life attackers.
when somebody owns like a shitload
This
of
gem adds a
dogs and they open
percentage
the
of your
gate
life as
and you walk
physical
in, all the
weapon damage
dogs are
while
running
you're
up
on
and
low
you're just
life.
like, get out of the
Letting
way.
low
You
life
start
attack
trying to
based
shove your
builds
way
really
through.
scale their damage,
That's what it
which
looks
wasn't an
like.
option before.
Like, yeah, you fucking pests.
Alongside a Val-themed expansion and blood-themed gems, it felt right to take the opportunity to improve Val skills, which are supercharged versions of regular gems that charge up with the souls of your slain enemies to deal huge bursts of damage. One of the main improvements is that you now get far more souls for Val skills from damaging unique enemies, so your Val skills will recharge faster against bosses. We've also improved the Atziri's Reign unique jewel. Alongside increasing the duration of your Val skills, it also grants a chance to
Just
regain
running
all
on through
consumed
that beam.
souls. Val skills have also
multiple
received a
times.
balance pass that you can check out in the full
Those
Path of Exile
archers.
Ultimatum patch notes in a few days. So we've covered most of the key components that make up Path of Exile Ultimatum. Keep an eye on the news over the next week as we reveal the finer details of what's coming.
55% of that?
We'll move on to the
60
Q&A
maybe?
shortly to answer your burning questions.
Some of
But
that show's
first,
like,
let's
I
have
didn't know
a
it was a
quick
thing
look
in
at
the
the new
game.
supporter packs that are available
I'll say
right now
this,
to
there's a
celebrate
lot
the
of
launch
whoosh
of
happening there
Ultimatum
for me.
and help fund ongoing development of Path of Exile. The Silver Crescent and Imperial Sun supporter packs come with masses of points to spend in the store, social frames, forum titles and badges, a download of the digital soundtrack, and of course, exclusive cosmetic microtransactions such as armor sets, alternate helmets, and weapon skins. The Silver Crescent series has an exclusive portal effect, and the Imperial Sun series has an exclusive aura effect. Each series has 2 packs, and the smaller packs can be upgraded to their respective large pack anytime while they're still on sale. These are, of course, in addition to the new core packs that were released at the end of last year. Remember to check those out if you haven't already.
Let's not talk about last year.
Thank you so much for your support. Purchases of these supporter packs are the only
Take
thing
over
that fund
again.
ongoing development of Path of Exile,
It never
its sequel
happened.
Path of Exile 2, and expansions like Ultimatum. The reveals we showed you today are already live on YouTube for you to link to your friends in case they missed the live stream. Please do so. We're keen to get a big turnout on the release of Ultimatum next week. And we've got plenty more reveals planned for the rest of the
don't
year.
worry, we
There's a
are.
lot more Path of Exile 2 stuff to show off, and we've also got some
Look
new
at the 5
progress on Path of
dislikes on
Exile
this
Mobile
video.
we're keen to share with you as well.
Peasants.
Anyway,
Five
if you have any
people came in
questions
like,
for what
"Fuck
we've shown you
this."
today, please get them ready because I'm about to be joined by Ziggy D as we do a Q&A based on your questions from
They're probably
Twitch chat.
purists of a different game.
Oh, maybe. All right. What do we think of what we saw?
Path of Exile 2 is looking really good. Better than I was expecting it to, which is great to say.
Oh, that trailer. Even when the trailer started, I got hyped. But then the gameplay was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it visually looks great. The combat looks a lot more fun. The attention to backgrounds and animations and even stuff like your clothes flowing and stuff like that is really cool to see. And the ARPGs are interesting, right? Because you're playing from such a faraway perspective that nuance of combat is really easy to get lost. Is really easy to lose, and it seems like the skill effects in Path of Exile 2 really want to stand out and still be noticeable, which is hard to do. And something I give Diablo 3 credit for sure is like what your moves are when they're happening, and that's something that looks like Path of Exile 2 is going to do really well.
I don't know, man. I got to the point in Diablo 3 where like I was just like speed running through zones and just like lawn mowing, no matter what class I was playing, just lawn mowing through crowds of people. And every once in a while, I'd be like going, and then like my character go and just go flying up out of the screen at me. And I'm like, well, I died. That was me.
But the effects of your moves are noticeable. Is my whole point.
Yeah.
Because obviously your camera's not against them, so you're not seeing every little movement they're doing with their attacks. And a good example there is like, the lightning strikes are very, obvious. The fire effects are very obvious. The ice effects, like everything's very obvious.
Well, a game that did it really well, and I'm just a fanboy, is Wolcen. Wolcen's moves were like very specific. They were very well designed and really well done. So like when you're using them, you know exactly what's going on at all times with enemies. And I feel like that's something that you're just going to see more and more with the RPGs now, because what they're able to do with the amount of stuff going on screen at once and the lessons learned from prior experiences working on games, because it is really easy just to have all these like effects happening and shit and not be able to recognize what's going on and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, even going from seeing like Path of Exile 2 to Path of Exile 1, I didn't realize there was that much of a difference until we saw it.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the moves and shit, and I'm like, Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them are just kind of like swipey things flying across the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell which ones are newer though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, even that blood magic move that was like the tendrils and shit was definitely newer looking.
What were you gonna say, Chris?
No. It's just, it looks, Path of Exile 2 looks really well done. Really interested to get my hands on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to finding time in my life. But on top of that, the changes they're making in the middle of this month to the looting system across the game, unfortunately makes me want to play it really bad. So
Yeah, that's what I was kind of feeling. I ain't seen Path of Exile 2. I'm like, I really want to fucking play that. Now I'm kind of curious to play Path of Exile just because I kind of want to progress through it further, kind of get ready for the game when it comes out, whenever that is. But then when they said like they're redoing rewards and stuff, I was like, oh, it's cool. And I just kept naming shit. I'm like, oh, so like you did everything. And then they went through all the details like, holy fuck, okay, this is like, that's all these small changes are going to make the whole experience different.
Well, and it screams to me too, like, for anyone who didn't experience all the steps of the end game, this is the time to hop in and experience them.
All the reward systems and them almost seeming, I guess, more fair and more balanced and more accessible, I guess, to get the stuff you're looking for. Sounds like the end of the era stuff that you see in like MMOs and stuff. As you approach them maybe working on a new project, they start kind of making all the content they've made in the past worth maybe playing again. Because everything they kind of mentioned, I'm like, it sounds like a good time to start playing again. And I mean, we just played recently, but that was just a new season that came out. It wasn't like this big of a change. So although I am going to force myself to wait a little bit, just because this month we got some big games to play. But I could definitely see myself playing Path of Exile more. I know people who would play with me, so definitely an option.
Yeah. And for me, the only option really, other than maybe revisiting something like Wilson. So
Torchlight 3, even though I'm not in love with it, they got a new class coming out. It's like a ghost pirate.
Yeah, I need to revisit that game because it was way too new when we played it.
My biggest problem with it is like it doesn't feel like Torchlight 1 or 2. It feels like a different game. And I'm fine with that game, but it just doesn't feel similar to 2. And looks really weird. Every character looks like they're like a plastic action figure. I'm like, what does that look? Anyway, we're not here to talk about fucking Torchlight 3.
Yeah.
So let's jump into what I thought. Path of Exile 2 is looking fucking awesome. Better than I thought. I really liked the trailer. I even liked the music. I even got kind of like, which is weird, I got kind of like fucking chills watching us. Like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm stoked for this. Like, it drove that hype for me, which was really nice because I was not expecting that. Because I like the first game a lot, but I don't watch stuff on and go, ooh, fuck yeah. Right. But like, it does feel like we're getting something new and a substantial big upgrade. The gameplay, we saw way more gameplay than I thought we were going to see. I thought we'd see like maybe a minute or two. We watched like a pretty long chunk of gameplay there, and I'm impressed with all of it. It is looking on par with all the new next-gen ARPGs out there. Animations are not just for Path of Exile, but for ARPGs in general, looking really good. But specifically for Path of Exile, looking substantially better than the first game. I always thought that it was a fun and charming, interesting quirk of Path of Exile to be so stiff, because it reminded me of the older ARPGs. Yeah. That obviously isn't something they care to translate into the next game, because there's like, no, this is a new game. Oh, it's not going to look like old Diablo 2 type games? No, this is a new game. And it's very smooth. And I'm seeing that. And I'm very excited about that because it looks great. Graphically, you know, like RPGs, you look at them, you're like, it's pretty good looking. You're so far away, it's kind of hard to tell. But like, you're looking at the rock walls, they look really detailed. The lighting's really fucking good. The animation's really good. The particle effects, everything going on looks fucking fantastic. I love the way it looks. But then when we saw Path of Exile, I'm like, oh, it's a big upgrade.
Yeah.
I knew it was an upgrade for sure. It looks great, but it's a big upgrade compared to Path of Exile.
Well, even right there, too, with the fireball floating by, it has like a subtle glow on it, too.
Yeah.
It's
when even like these spider dudes, when they come down, they start crawling down the wall when they get low enough, so like that. There's like all these small little details that don't need to be there, but they are, and it all adds to the whole experience. The smoke, the clouds floating by, all that stuff. Even the town being this moving, roaming village that you're in that will literally stop for your quests or whatever. That stuff they didn't even have to stop. You could have just always been moving. I would have been impressed. Yeah, just go like, oh, we're gonna go do this. So you hit the portal and fucking go do your mission. But that actually like stops you, like get out and go do it. Like that's just this act.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, and it's funny because like, you know, every RPG always has their desert act, and it's always like Act 2, Act 3. At least they're and I always play an RPG. I'm like, well, at least they're doing something interesting with the desert, and they're doing something interesting with the desert because everyone I've ever talked to has always said that's their least favorite parts of ARPGs, and I'm the same. So they are doing something definitely different with this, and I think it's really cool looking. The moves look awesome. The combat looks awesome. I think the spear looks fucking dope. I think the crossbow, 2 different kinds of crossbows, kind of like Wolfson. One shoots differently than the other one. Really fucking cool. The new gem slots. You could have kept the old system. I would have never even gave a fuck. I'd be like, cool. I'm used to that. But this new system seems like you're still getting the same experience, but in a more easy to digest data way. You look at it, it's just straightforward. Everything's just lined up. It's a fucking list, and you just go, okay, here, which I think will streamline the experience. I think it'll even benefit on console. I've played on PC and console quite a bit, and once you get used to how console plays when you're messing around with putting gems in sockets, stuff like that, it's very streamlined and easy to do. But that looks way better for everything, but console specifically, because you're just going to go up and down that list and just go.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. I think it's a really good. I mean, I haven't seen it really in practice too much, but it seems like it's a good idea. And it's those small little things that are going to make the whole experience better. Although I do really like that they're keeping, the HUD similar. It feels like Path of Exile. You feel at home. Even the inventory screen looked like you're kind of at home. This is Path of Exile. Shout out to the rock bug guys. I like those. When I saw them roll down, start crawling around, I'm like, that's cool. So yeah, Path of Exile 2 looking fucking awesome. I can't wait to play it. I don't know when it's coming out, but I'm stoked to play it. And that it's gonna have a full seven act campaign when it comes out. That's awesome. New classes, that's awesome. I remember in the original trailer they showed for Path of Exile 2, it showed all the characters from the first game get hung. So they just kill them off or whatever.
Yeah.
Or some shit. So that's kind of interesting. So you're just gonna start from scratch with different characters, which I think is the only way you could really do it, unless they had a thing where you took your character from the last game and for whatever reason they take your abilities away, which would just feel defeating, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I could gush all day. Path of Exile 2 is looking awesome. Ultimatum is looking cool. I never get super excited for the seasons or the expansions. Some of them more than others, obviously. I think the last one was okay, but nothing amazing. Sounds cool. I like the whole horde mode, kind of like Warframe. You're playing with your friends. You can go as far as you want for better rewards or drop out whenever. I like that they're taking into account that people may leave. It's smart. Yeah, seems like a cool thing. I'll definitely want to try it out. And then I'm not going to go through all the things that they're changing in the game because we already did that. We fucking did that dance. And I don't remember most of it. But the overall idea of what they're doing, I think, is really good. Shows that they really care about the game and they really want to make sure that they're listening to the community and they're trying to make the game the best game they can. And it really sounds like they are getting ready to start transitioning into the next game. by making the original game worthwhile to play from the beginning to end again, and doing the end game and all that stuff. Just all the content will be worth playing in case you want to play through it, get the whole storyline in, or if you're working on this part of the game or this part of the game or the end game, the rewards will feel fair, which is good. It really sounds like a huge fucking change. All these little changes is like the whole game, which is really kind of crazy. There's a couple things in there that I've fucked around with in the game, and I'm like, oh wow, they're really affecting like all the reward systems. That's really impressive. So that is a reason why I would like to go back and play it. Outside of I'd like to play it in general, just to kind of see how that affects the whole experience. And yeah, what they say, Ultimatum comes out in a week,
16th.
Yeah, so very soon. I don't know if I'm going to play it. Well, I'll probably dive in a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to devote a lot of time this month to the game, just because I got other games to play, but I do plan on playing this game again soon, and I would like to get through all the acts before Path of Exile 2 comes out, because I would like to get that feeling of when I'm starting Path of Exile 2, and I'm on the same page where you should be starting, the sequel to the prior game, because I've played the game plenty. I've just, every time I play, I either start a new character or I got a new friend who's hopping in from the beginning. So I'm like, I'll come back and play with you. And I never can dedicate a character and get all the way through it. Plus, the game has been evolving and growing since it's come out. So
and taking breaks makes that hard.
And if I'm not playing it constantly, I'm not staying on top of that. So although it does sound like I'm eventually going to get to a point where I can have a finite ending, possibly. So yeah, overall, great presentation. A lot of really cool and exciting stuff shown, and really excited for the future of Path of Exile. Anything else you guys want to
add? As someone who hasn't played Path of Exile 2 and was already feeling overwhelmed by every additional piece of content that was added to the game, this fried my brain. Like, it is information overload. And as someone who doesn't dive too deep into Path of Exile, this makes me not want to play the original anymore. Like, I probably won't touch it again. I'll play Path of Exile 2 when it comes out, just because there's so much going on now that I cannot fathom trying to learn all these new systems, old systems with new things happening to them. I mean, there was so much going on. It was almost too much for me to handle. Like, I was literally sitting here like, there's more. Oh God, there's more. Oh God, please just stop. Just you should have brought this up in like separate little tidbits here and there of like different episodes or different shows. For like, I get it if you're a regular Path of Exile, this is all information that's really cool, really new and exciting. But like, this does not make me want to play the game at all anymore.
Yeah, it's almost like going through like every detail of the patch notes for an update to a game or something like that.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely not for. I mean, I argue it's not really for us in general. Like that's for people who
I think I got more out of it than you guys, but there's definitely some stuff that was like, well, this is a lot. There's a lot going on.
Well, my whole point is like, if I sit there and rattle off, patch notes to Final Fantasy 14 to you, for example, you're just like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I don't even want to hear that.
And it's the same idea.
I'm not interested in that at all.
Though it's so like. For you, if you're going to hop into that game, or if, like for me, if I'm going to hop into Path of Exile again, I'm ignoring all that. Everything they just said to me, I'm just like, that's neat, means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Until I get to a point in the game where it becomes relevant, and then I have to learn about it, and I'll just take it at that point.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's definitely, it was for like the hardcore who want to know everything that's changing. I liked hearing it, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
Because it is impressive how much they've changed. But yeah, if you're not playing the game regularly, or you haven't played the game a lot at any point, well, that's not even. It's like another language being spoken to you, because you're just like,
jargon.
I don't know what the fuck you're even telling me got upgraded or how it was before. So, completely understandable. And I was thinking about that too. Like, I'm not in the same boat, because I definitely want to play through it, but I could see somebody going like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait for Path of Exile 2 to come out, because I can start from the beginning there and play as it expands and turns into whatever it's going to turn into. Maybe it's too late for me to hop into Path of Exile. I know people who felt that exact same way with Warframe. After the amount of stuff they added to that game, they're like, I don't know what to do. And I know DE had worked on different ways to try and streamline the, I guess, not tutorial, but like the learning curve of getting into the game.
The new player experience.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know how it is now, but I know it was daunting for a lot of people. I've tried to get some people into Warframe back when we were playing more regularly, and it was kind of hard. Just like Path of Exile, they're both deep games that can be daunting for somebody who just is hopping in and going like, "Oh, it's like Diablo." Well, yeah, but with a lot of shit. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Like, you get to a point where you're like, "What am I doing here? I can go do this. Do I have to?" Well, not really, but you can. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, and obviously everyone like handles that kind of stuff differently. I've just gotten to a point now, especially from playing so many like MMOs and especially like hopping into ones that have already like existed for a while and stuff like that, that I just kind of have the mindset of like, I'm just going to do the campaign, and as questions arise, I'll Google them. Like, and that's just how I play these kind of games now. Even with like Path of Exile, if I sit down and play this, my goal is going to go get through 7 acts. That'll be goal 1.
Mm-hmm.
Extra game modes and stuff, I might like tinker with it, but I'm not going to like invest time because I just assume they're all end game things, and then I'll just go down the list. And if it's not relevant to my build, once again, I might mess with it a little bit, but I definitely like to set checkpoint goals for myself when I play big games, especially because otherwise I get lost and overwhelmed, and I don't want to do it. So I get that. I've just had to force myself to focus on one thing at a time. Otherwise, I won't do it. So
yeah. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to really add to that?
No.
For the record, for anybody watching, are you interested in playing Path of Exile 2, Chris?
Oh yeah, absolutely, very much so.
Cool. If you could grade the presentation, what would you grade it?
Honestly, I'd probably give it an A. It was really well done. They showed their new game and lots of it. They started
with Path of Exile 2 as well. That's what people want to see.
They showed their current game and talked a lot about it. Not super new player friendly, as we just got to discussing, but
well, at least they saved that for the end as well. You could have just dipped out, but
100%. Yeah. But there is obviously a lot of information there, which shows active, like you said earlier too. They're actively involved in the game and trying to make the best game they can, which I will, no matter what game it is and who's making it, always appreciate. So
yeah, Chris.
I'm gonna give it a B+ for brain fried.
Brain fried plus.
It's just fucking fried at this point for all the information overload.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling an A- just because the beginning was really strong, the hype was really good. They respected people's time with going, hey, we know you want to see Path of Exile 2. Here's the trailer, here's the gameplay, here's more gameplay than you thought we're going to give you. And then they showed Ultimatum, which was exciting, and then they saved like the whole fucking patch note thing for the end, which you didn't have to stick around for, but we did, which I think was a bit of a slog and probably the slow point of the presentation. But they did all that in 48 minutes, and I think it was a really good 48 minutes that they crafted well. I think they showed off a lot of really cool stuff. Just the end was a little long because there was a lot of details they really wanted to tell you that I could have heard like 50% of that and been like, oh shit, that's crazy.
7 years of content getting updates.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, but overall, I thought it was a really good presentation, way better than I thought we were getting into here. So I was like, yeah, this will be fun. It'll be worth talking about. But then I watched them like, oh fuck, I want to play this. So they did their job. So yeah, A-. Yeah, so let us know in the comments what do you guys think about the presentation. What are you most excited about? Are you excited for Path of Exile 2? Have you played Path of Exile? To what degree have you played it? Are you an expert at the game? Have you barely played it? Was it too complicated for you? I've heard people say that. I've talked to people like, I tried to get in Path of Exile, but I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I looked at the skill tree and I was like, holy shit. Yeah, are you planning on beating the game before PoE 2 comes out? Have you already beaten any doing end game stuff? What do you think about the updates that they are doing to 7 years worth of content? And what are you most excited about with Path of Exile 2? What do you think about Ultimatum? Are you excited for that? And what would you like to see from Path of Exile before we move into the sequel? And what would you like to see from Path of Exile 2? Let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. It's that time where we reflect on past episodes and read your comments. So yeah, if you want your comment to be read for sure, make sure to type in hashtag AskTLG on your comment. Otherwise, I pick at random. We did get one, hashtag AskTLG, which we will be reading for sure. In fact, we're going to read it first because that's how it goes. So yeah, we're going to read these and respond. This is I think it's Plus Club. Yep, where we reviewed Final Fantasy VII Remake, Remnant from the Ashes, and Maquette. So if you'd like to know our full opinions on those games that we played throughout the month of March, check out that episode. Got 626 views. Dope. This one is from Jeremy, which says, because I know I'm going to fuck up your last name, so I'll say Jeremy, says, hashtag AskTLG. I see Chevy is a purist about Final Fantasy VII. I was like that before, but what people have to understand is the game is not a remaster, it's a remake. I really wish I can tell you guys all my thoughts and opinions about the remake, but it's hard for me because of the language boundaries. If you guys are curious, I can put a good video on your Discord that is on the same page as me, or real close at least. Seth, you have to finish the game. Can't wait to play the DLC. Gonna have to wait until summer. Sad face. There's a lot of sad faces and stress faces in this comment. A lot of stress going on with this comment. I'm gonna beat the game. I'm gonna beat the game at some point. Definitely gonna finish it. I want to do that. I want to play the DLC as well. And from what I've played so far, obviously I'm enjoying. But yeah, you're gonna have to wait. I'm aware it's a remake. I don't know if Chevy is. Pretty sure he is.
Very well. Yeah.
And what do you think about being a purist? Are you a purist?
I mean, I can see how that was conveyed. I feel like I was trying to emphasize that I was fighting against nostalgia when discussing that, because I do realize they are retelling the story, and they did say it would be a different experience. So I'm aware of these things, and I do want to emphasize that depending on what the next game presents storyline wise will solidify an opinion of me of the first game's storyline, because
I think you're really clear about that as well, saying that your opinion isn't even sealed yet because you need the next part to tell you whether that worked or not.
Yeah,
which I think is fair.
Yeah, I mean it's essentially a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
for me, as a video game, it's a blast. I had fun with it for sure. But as you know, Final Fantasy VII's story, remake or remaster, whatever they're doing, or decide to do with it, that story is still there.
It's like I'm gonna piss people off. I'm being real controversial tonight. It's like when The Force Awakens came out. I watched it, I'm like, okay, well, I wonder what they're gonna do. Then The Last Jedi came out. I'm like, oh no. It's it was a situation where like it ended. I'm like, well, is this gonna be good or not?
Right.
And then it wasn't. So
yeah,
could go like that possibly.
And without going into too much detail about it, I've kind of emphasized it a little bit before. There are things I think they lean on very heavily in the remake that feel more like, I might be misusing the term, but Deus Ex Machinas.
English is not Chevy's first language, so it might not be using the right word.
They're convenient, and they feel convenient.
I'm not a big fan of those.
So, yeah. Like I said, though, overall, like I think it's a great game. I'm being very nitpicky because I have beaten Final Fantasy VII multiple times, so I do have a little more of a. I think I'm going to have a higher tendency to be fussy.
For sure. And one last thing I want to add is if you want to post that video in the Discord, feel free to do that. But please, and I know you will, but let us know if there's spoilers or something involved with that, because I'm open to checking it out. But if it's something that's going to ruin my experience playing the game, I don't want to watch it, but I am curious about it for sure. But also in the Discord, link down below if anybody wants to talk to us anytime, all time. You could also type out your thoughts on it in like full. Doesn't have to be a comment on YouTube. You can do it in Discord, and if there's any confusion because of language boundaries, we can talk it out there. Chris, you have anything to add to this?
No, not really. It's kind of addressed to Chevy, so. Yeah.
And me, I gotta finish the game. All right, thank you for the comment, Jeremy. Going back, we reacted to Forspoken, Life is Strange, True Colors, Outriders, the Square Enix presents for spring 2021. We got a couple comments here. One from Nick Raintree saying, we're gonna need a full playthrough from Seth for the new Life is Strange. This must happen. I'm open to it. I would do it. If you want to hear me bitch for a while, or maybe I'll fucking play it and it'll be like really good, and I'll be like, oh shit, that's possible. It's happened.
It'll just be the year that Square's just proven you wrong.
That'd be great. Do it. Fucking do it. Maybe I'll play The Quiet Man and I'll be like, oh my god, why did I say all that shit?
Yeah, but that was last year.
That wasn't the year they're changing it and fucking making me change my mind on things. So I mean, yeah, I'd be down. Do I want to buy the game? No, but if I can play it, I would play it. I'd be open to it. But yeah, I feel like people just want to see how I'd react to it.
So people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, pretty much. You guys have anything to add to that?
No.
Okay. Thank you for the comment. Then we got one from Simon, Borderline Dumpster Fire Randall. It says, this True Colors trailer was an epic win. It really hit me with the stupid gun right in the feels. Looks amazeballs. If it won't have too much of that 17-year-old SJW schoolgirl self-insert fantasy vibe either, and will have a few lines of dialogue that make sense, I might get down to bidness and hella watch half a playthrough. I like how it's half a playthrough of it, provided my step bitch lets me. The story is driven by a mystery and with supernatural elements, in quotes. Yeah, man, I kind of wish the previous Life is Strange game had those, but even 2 was more akin to a Grisea no Kudamono La Fruit de la Grisea with a bit of Kingdom Come Deliverance in the mix than, for example, a chaotic storyline about an art student who can predict tornadoes. That's a simplistic way to put it, but I'm not going to argue with you. Always nice to see writers brave unknown waters and try their luck in different genres like this. Calling out Ubisoft in my name, slapping the nettles with my dick there, Seth. If Ubisoft doesn't give me early access to Assassin's Creed Madagascar or whatever they're coming up with next in that one franchise, you know it's on you. Chevy shaking his head as you told me I'm his unwanted son, though. That shit hurted a little.
Okay.
You heard him.
I don't even know what you read just now.
I'm very confused as well. What just happened? Did I stroke out?
So he's saying that the new Life is Strange is looking great, looking amazeballs. He's willing to get down to business and hella watch half a playthrough if his step bitch lets him. And then he's also touching on the stories driven by mystery and supernatural elements. So he's saying it's kind of a mix of whatever the fuck he just said in Japanese and Kingdom Come Deliverance, which was a dope game that I got to reinstall 3 times. Because everybody who's watching me play is like, you got to reinstall it. So it's a mix of those 2 games. Yeah, he appreciates them going through unknown waters. And then, yeah, he's calling out Ubisoft, and he's upset that Chevy won't accept him as his son.
Well, I don't want children, so sorry.
He's going to hurt him again. Every week, it's just going to be a recurring thing where you hurt
I can't control
Simon.
your emotions, so that's on you.
It's cold, dude. It's cold.
And I don't have any commentary on Life is Strange. It's a game.
It is a game. Chris, anything to add?
No, this is just the episode of me getting my brain fried over and over again.
By the end of the, Chris is gonna need a week off after this episode. He's like, dude, my brain is not working as well as it used to because of this episode. It's your fault. I appreciate your breakdown. It's very well written and whimsically presented. I think I agree with a lot of it. I think. And I can appreciate your appreciation for them kind of playing with Kingdom Come Deliverance and whatever the fuck the other thing you typed out was. I don't even know what that is. Is that going to get me in trouble? And did I say something weird in Japanese?
Japanese adult visual novel?
Yeah, probably.
Find out if the banhammer comes down.
And I hope Assassin's Creed Madagascar or whatever is coming out next. I'm very excited for that as well. Thank you for the comment.
Yes, it was entertaining to say the least.
Thanks.
I had fun reading it. And thank you everybody who commented on this video. Moving on to the next one, we got a review of Among Us, where we played Among Us and talked about it. We got a comment from Puppet Master in reference to the very beginning where I put a little clip together. Go make sure to go watch that episode if you want to see it, where I murdered Chris right in front of Chevy and Josh. And I don't think Puppet Master really liked the way I went about trying to talk my way out of it, because I didn't. And I just kind of sat there and listened to people as they're getting the noose ready for me. And I was like, okay, here we go. Puppet Master says, what you should have done when Chevy reported you was to Uno reverse card him. After he's done speaking, you should have said, no, I saw you kill him, self-report, and try and frame me. I just got done with water and watched you kill him. Have to make it believable, but better than saying nothing. So what Puppet Master's saying is he's a psychopath who is easily able to just fucking make up some shit on the fly to frame people, pretending they're framing him. This is a good tactic. The thing I said, though, in my reply is it wasn't just Chevy that saw it. Maybe Josh didn't see it, but Josh was right behind Chevy. There's two people. So in my brain, I wasn't going to go, Josh, did you see anything? Well, I'm not going to bring that up. So I'm just like, fuck. I'm fucked. I have a real big problem with, like, when something, if it's fucked up, happens to me, or really a lot of things, I'll just kind of like laugh at the irony of it. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. And I was kind of just stewing and like, I can't believe I just like was sitting there looking at water. Chris comes walking in, he kind of looks at me, and I'm like, well, I have to kill him. And I just like turned and went, bop, and murder him. And as soon as I stepped out and I could see around the corner, Chevy's just there. And Chevy, as soon as I killed him and I stood there for a second, I took a step and Chevy took a step at me, and then the report happened. I'm like, why'd you have to get near me? Chevy's like, oh.
I think I was waiting for the button to pop up.
It was scary. And Josh is just kind of like drifting by. He like kind of goes around the corner up in the. I'm like, what is he doing up there? Why are you guys all together? What the fuck is this? But yes, I think possibly if I had enough energy in me to have gone, no, I saw you kill him, self-report, and try and frame me. I feel like if I would have came off that hard, though, people would have went like, Seth doesn't talk like that. He's definitely the killer. So I don't know. I think I'm kind of fucked. Either way. But yeah, you guys got anything to add to that?
I think the only thing I can say is hindsight's 20/20. So
100%. It's really easy to kind of see something happen and go, you should have done this. 100%. Yeah, I was like, Josh is right behind him. Otherwise, this would be the move. Good tactic, though. And he replied, like I said, have to make it really believable to the point where Josh will even doubt himself and his eyes. So he's saying, like, come off so fucking hard about this that even though Josh saw it, he's going to go, wait, did Chevy fucking do it? That'd be the move if you could do it.
It's a little tricky, too, because we like all know each other like really well.
That's the hardest thing, dude. Yeah. Like when Josh was like getting crazy, I'm like, he's the killer.
Yeah, he's getting too amped up.
Josh doesn't act like this unless he's the killer. In real life, like when he gets fucking weird, I'm like, who'd you kill? Why are you fucking acting like this?
Why is your energy like at 300%?
Why are you talking to me like I'm an asshole for fucking asking where you were a second ago? Nowhere. What were you doing? Okay, who'd you kill? Why are you talking to me like this? Is there someone dead in the backyard? What's going on? Chris, got anything to add to that?
I can't believe he killed me in cold blood like that. Just right in front of Chevy.
In front of my own brother. And I didn't even deny it. I was just like, wow. Because I was like, I was just trying to do the water thing. That's true. I was. But I still killed you. I didn't deny I killed you. I was trying to do the water thing. Chris died. He fell. Split in half.
Turned Chris into a ham bone.
I was really banking on that. I was hoping people would be like, wait, you saw Chris just split in half when he fell? I'm like, yeah, of course, that was fucking weird. He's like, wow, that is weird. Chris does that sometimes. He just kind of walks and falls in half. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? It's his height.
I mean, I kind of believe that one.
From that height when you fall, dude, it's like a lot more boom when you hit the ground. Calling him out. All right. Well, thank you for the comment. Thank you for the tactic. I'll remember that on the next time I play Among Us, which I hope will happen. We did a video, me and Chris, where he unboxed his Nintendo Switch Monster Hunter Rise Deluxe Edition. It was a fun video. Make sure to go check it out. I got to test out my Rode Go Mic 2 thing. I learned some lessons because at one point Chris's mic like curled into his chest and it sounded muffled. I was like, we gotta not do that again. So yeah, not Chris, Psycho Scream. Where if Chris is in here, hey, grats, talking to himself. Psycho Scream says, hey, grats. And Onion Wolf
thank you.
Says, great looking Switch. Thanks for sharing. Shame I already had one. I also only just got my collector's edition today, but I nagged Nintendo to give me a digital copy until mine arrived since they were late to dispatch it. So wait, you actually got the digital copy while waiting? Because that's a power play. That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
So yeah. How are you liking your Switch so far, Chris?
I love it.
Yeah.
Took you forever to get one, but yeah.
Yeah, not only is the Switch an awesome console, but you also got a dope-ass looking one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so excited because, like I said, I don't usually buy special edition things because usually I buy consoles pretty early in the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
But this one I just waited forever, and now I got a fancy one.
I got the fancy one.
Now
watch like a month from now, the fucking Switch Pro gets announced.
Don't say that. Don't jinx me like that.
I want it. I want that Switch Pro. But yeah. Anything to add? No. All right. Thank you for the comments. Moving on. I played Outriders with Josh. It was a stream. We played for a while, and I got a comment from Skinut712 saying, so you didn't try to farm any legendaries in the demo? I did not. I got to level 7 and I got the fuck out of the demo because I did not want to burn myself out before the game came out, because I've done that before in other games that had like substantial demos where I was like, holy fuck, you can play this a lot. And then I played a lot and the game comes out, I'm like, I feel like I already did this.
For sure.
So yeah, I didn't want to do that. I know a lot of people did sit there and farm legendaries. And I mean, somebody when I was playing was talking about that they did that. They hadn't got the game yet. They're just playing the demo over and over again, doing that. And I was like, well, you're gonna get a lot of resources later, so that's good. But yeah, I hop games a lot anyway, so I got to really savor the flavor of a game while I can. So yeah, if I milked that demo, it would not have been good for me. Anything you guys want to add to that?
Just that I agree with the sentiment you said there. It's too many games to play, and it is really easy to feel like you've played something when you play, whether early access, beta, or what do they call that? Anyway, demo. There we go.
Those old things.
Because, especially like and obviously not everyone's the same. There's some people who I'm sure are still playing like Borderlands 2 for the fucking 7 millionth hour. You just kind of, I agree with Seth in regards of like the game was coming out super soon. You're gonna be doing it anyways, and that those legendaries are gonna become obsolete. So like,
so you're just grinding for resources essentially.
And if you're having fun, awesome. That's the whole point, right? But I definitely relate to the like, I'll do it when it's released.
Yeah, I was sold, so I was like, okay, I got what I needed out of this. I'm just ready for the game now.
For sure.
Yeah. I play demos to see if I want to play the game more, if I want to buy the game. And once I decide that, I stop playing the demo because, again, like you said, I don't want to get burned out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I respect anybody who wants to play it and get all those legendaries. I mean, I still haven't gotten a fucking legendary in the game, so...
I mean, especially if you're playing a demo that carries over and you're like, man, this is my jam. Like, yeah, it totally makes sense. So...
Yeah. So, thank you for the comment. on that video. And the last video, we got a comment from Gaming Stroff that says, guys, is it yours website? They're by cases. Which I think they're trying, I think it's an advertisement. I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, I would say that's either not their first language or a bot gone bad.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're not a bot, let me know in the comments, and maybe I misread that, but reading that, I kind of feel like it's an ad, so I might be spending too much time talking about an ad. But if you were not an ad, let me know what you're talking about.
I don't know, the sentence structure's kind of funny.
Guys, is it yours website? Thereby cases.
It's also like there in direction.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for this segment. Thank you, everybody who commented, and quick reminder to type in hashtag AskTLG on your comment if you'd like your comment for sure to be read on the show. And first, otherwise I pick at random. But that's going to do it for this episode of Tastecast, episode 139. We're almost at 140. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on social media and our streams. Links down below. Check out our Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel further than liking, commenting, sharing this video, and subscribing if you're brand new. And I think that's everything. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
It's been a long one. So until the next one, have a good weekend, guys, and take it easy.